What's up, boxing fans around the world? We got Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora against Deontay Wilder, bronze bomber, heavyweight clash. Two guys. Let's go. What's up, fam? Pop with me Glock from Lancashire. Yeah, the stream's hot fire. We here from the London, from the O2 Arena, yeah. All right, what's going on, everybody? After that much cringe introduction to the live today, we got Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora in what my guy Chiquian Talks Boxing, what's up JJJ, is calling Washed Wars 1. But there's been many a fun Washed Wars in boxing history, and many a sad Washed Wars. But we will see what we get from the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder, and longtime rugged heavyweight contender, kind of the Burt Cooper of his generation, a guy like that, my guy Derek Chisora. And should be fun. Should be fun, a little sloppy, but violent, and probably someone getting stopped. So here we are, live from the high-tech, elaborate, illustrious studios on the third level of my house. Into round 9 between Vidal Riley and Masternick. Denzel Bentley, shout out to Too Sharp Bentley, holding down the Too Sharp name for years, ever since Mark Too Sharp Johnson retired long time ago. But any British rapping, straight to jail. I agree. Moses Italma is doing an amazing job, but the one place he let me down last week, and I do think he is very special, is when he came out with a British rapper instead of the Styles P song. Good times. But and all his Instagram posts have been on point. He's been having some Tupac in there. I like a number of Jay-Z songs, but I don't like Jay-Z that much per se. But I like Reasonable Doubt. I like The Blueprint, and he had All I Need on his post-fight Instagram post. That was dope. But yes, the one place Itama has speed. He has a great power, great technical ability out of the southpaw stance. Feints, he even has some Shakur in his game, some Alexander Usyk in his game with his own sauce. But he came out to a British rapper, and I think that's not good, fam. I don't think it's good, fam. So that's just me. What a hater I'm being. How disrespectful to the great people of the United Kingdom. But they love boxing, and we love them for loving boxing. But yeah, right now, Vidal Riley into the 9th round of his cruiserweight fight. Had to jump on before we got to main event time, and that's when we'll really lock in for this fight. But let me say what's up to some people in the chat. Dragon 3312, what's up to you? My guy JJJ, Chiquian Talks Boxing, as always. Much love to you, brother. Much love to my guy Steve Santiago. What's up, Steve? Steve is a hip-hop head, so he'll know everything. Peace, Sean. I got Chisora by KO in the 5th round. I think if, my gun to the head pick is Chisora as well. I just don't think Wilder reacts to taking punches very well anymore. And, unless he can just catch Chisora coming in fairly early in the fight, I think he will get roughed up on the inside, along the ropes, things like that. And he just doesn't react to getting hit well anymore. So that's that. But we'll see what's up. Jorge B. DeAndre, what's up, Jorge? B. DeAndre said, it was written, Sean. I love that 90s stuff out of Queensbridge. Yes, sir. I made my son, who's 6 and out and having fun for Easter weekend right now, I made him fall in love with The World Is Yours from Nas. So shout out to Queensbridge. Matt's Adventure says Sean deserves a network deal. Pay this man. I appreciate that, Matt. Thank you for chopping in. My wife chumped in with a few hearts. She's out and about with the kids. Love you, babe. Shout out to Maria C, as always, holding it down as our moderator. And RDK2292 saying the Vidal Riley fight is completely one-sided, but it's pretty entertaining. What's up, No Dice? Always good to see No Dice in here as well. And Sean, do the British accent, please. Look, fam. Derek Chisora. Look, here's the thing, mate. It might come down who takes the better punch. Granted, Wilder's a kind of puncher you can't quite take punches from. But even if Deontay Wilder's not the puncher he once was, even if he's not the puncher he once was, he can still spark Chisora out quickly. But if he doesn't, mate, if he doesn't, and Chisora's able to cut distance, able to get inside his chest, it might. I think it doesn't go well for Deontay Wilder. Look, fam. Chisora is a warrior, absolutely mental, forged in the fire. And Deontay Wilder, will the confidence be there? Will the ability to take a punch, will it be there? I don't know, mate. I don't know. I think Wilder, he either knocks him spark out early, walks him into a right hand, or if it gets anywhere near the deep waters, mate, I just don't think it's in the tank. I don't think it's there for Deontay Wilder. So, we'll see, mate. What's up, Pac-Man Tay? What's up, Tay? Oh, what's up, Tay Jones in there? Good to see you, brother. So, Tay, I know you're rocking with Deontay Wilder till the wheels come off. Much respect to you and to Deontay. Just having some fun with the accent. But Nate Guwap says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Nate? Scotty says, hi, I'm new. What's up, Scotty? Thanks for joining. We're going to get it in soon. But, yeah, I think, once upon a time, Deontay would have knocked Derek Chisora out, but these days where he's taken a few knockouts to guys like Zhang and the third Fury fight, second Fury fight, I think he's just not when he gets hit, he's reacting like a fighter who probably shouldn't be boxing anymore at these levels, because I see a little PTSD come into play. I don't see his body physically react well to getting hit. And Chisora, he's going to come in, with his... I got some flack for saying this, because it was like, how dare I compare Derek Chisora to Ken Norton. But his version of a Ken Norton, kind of cross arms, getting low, taking shots on the top of the head. And I don't think Wilder is generating the same snap and explosiveness on his right hand. I think what was underrated about Wilder in his prime was his ability, his hand speed, his explosiveness. He wasn't, and I said this on the pre-show with Raheem, but he wasn't some guy with the super heavy clubbing shots like a George Foreman. Part of his power was at 6'7", 220, generating torque and speed and snap to go with the right hand. And I haven't seen the right hand looking as explosive since the third Fury fight. I know he knocked out Robert Helenius in one round, but I haven't seen it generating that same torque and velocity, which helps generate the power. So, yeah, I think, once upon a time, Chisora right in front of him, even though Chisora cuts the distance on everybody, including Usyk, I think he would have eventually got roughed up in spots, clinched Chisora when he needed to, and then eventually lined him up for one big right hand and won the fight that way. But now I don't see quite the same velocity and danger on that right hand. And Chisora is still he still resembles his former self, even though he's 42, even though he's past his prime too. But I think he's a fighter with better durability at this point in their career. And Wilder, once upon a time, with his right hand, was a fighter that took durability kind of out the window. He just had a right hand that if he got you clean, almost nobody was going to be able to sustain. But these days, I don't think it's quite the same weapon it was. And I think at 40 years old, he's not generating the same torque. And Chisora is crafty at getting low with a cross arms defense. He'll switch. He'll make it ugly. He'll do whatever he's got to do to get in your chest. And then once he gets in your chest, he clubs you. He clubs you and beats you up. So... And I think even though he's not really a big puncher, 23 knockouts and 36 wins, he hits hard enough, and Deontay's punch resistance has deteriorated enough that won't go well for Deontay if he gets there, if he gets in his chest. So I'm leaning towards Chisora to win the fight, but hey, if Deontay can generate one last or highlight reel knockout at 40 years old, more power to him. He'll get to probably still wind up fighting Joshua, or even, in my opinion, get fed to Usyk. I don't think I don't know. I don't think that fight will go too well with him. Joshua's a different story. They're both past their best. They've both been stopped, but Usyk, that wouldn't be pretty, I think. So we'll see what's up. But Loke Tuapo, how you doing? Said, what's up, Sean from Australia? Yeah, Joshua is ringside. Well, I mean, he's from London, so that makes sense. Sean, your opinion, who do you have winning, Boots or Virgil? I gave the edge to Virgil, or excuse me, to Jaron Ennis, but, I don't know. Ennis has something to prove June 27th. I think Zayas is definitely the best opponent he's fought. And, that was the kind of fight we had to see what's going on, because neither one has fought someone like what was going to be across the ring for them. But I favored Ennis. I think just being the more creative, athletic fighter. But Virgil has underrated hand speed. He has an educated jab. He has very fast hands and a great volume. Really good punching power. He's gritty. He has good conditioning. So, I mean, Virgil might have, beat Boots' ass for all I know, but that fight's not going down. And I did favor Jaron Ennis to beat him with a little bit more versatility and creativity to his stances and his looks. And I don't just mean southpaw orthodox. I mean the ability to drop the lead hand out of both stances, drop both hands, be creative. That leaves his chin exposed. Maybe Ortiz's power and acumen and IQ and volume. He would have been the kryptonite for Jaron Ennis, but I do think Ortiz is more of a threat than Zayas, but we'll see, because styles make fights, and Boots struggled a little bit, against Chukajan over 24 rounds, had some fits, and Zayas is more of a boxer than Ortiz, who is more of a pressure fighter, more of a puncher, more of a volume guy, but Ortiz is educated too in his attack and his approach, so we'll see. But I think overall Ortiz was the more dangerous fight for Ennis, especially because of his power too, to go along with everything I said. But we'll see. I think Zayas is maybe being a little underestimated by some. People think he's just going to get blown out and stopped, and I'm thinking you go 24 rounds with Chukashan, then Zayas might be able to build upon some of the things Chukashan was able to do and make it more competitive than people are thinking. But I'm picking Ennis right now. Maybe against the field, which I get it, will get some people looking at me weird because he hasn't proven shit at 154 pounds, but he's an exceptional talent, and until someone exposes that he's more sizzle than steak, and that all his little flaws of leaving his chin exposed, and that can be exposed, and that they can overcome the speed, the power, the creativity, then Ennis is going to be tough to beat. And here's what I suspect. I suspect Ennis is not Terrence Crawford. You guys know I was asking for that fight from Terrence for a minute before we eventually got to the Canelo fight. I wanted to see... Here, let me fix my camera a little bit. Yeah. Camera does this weird thing on YouTube and on OBS. But I think what you're gonna get from Ennis is, if you're looking for like a kind of Terrence Crawford virtuoso pitching a shutout and then stopping Xander Zayas and just totally outclassing him, and like Mayweather Gotti, Mayweather Corrales kind of thing, I think you're going to be left disappointed. And I think if you're an Ennis critic and you're going to wind up harping on the 4 rounds or so that he's going to lose to Zayas, he's going to get caught with some shots. He's going to maybe get rocked, because not only does he get caught, he gets caught clean. He gets caught out of position, maybe even a little off balance. And I think his critics are going to run with that. And the people who are hoping he's just going to look like a bona fide pound for pound number one, not out of the question he looks like that, because he's so... I would say it's more likely... So here's what I'm saying. I would say it's more likely that Ennis winds up looking pound for pound number one material than he does just getting exposed by Zayas, right? But I'm expecting something in the middle where it's impressive. He beats a really quality young champion who's going to give a good account of himself in Zayas. Zayas is going to look good enough that his stock won't be that hurt, really. I think he's going to land some good shots, have some good rounds, give his crowd and the Puerto Rican fans enough moments of hope throughout the fight, win enough rounds that Zayas is left saying, hey, like, I took on the guy nobody wanted to fight. I think I did very good. I did do very good. I'm young. I'm only going to get better. I'm going up to 160. And people will be like, this kid can fight. And they'll give him, you know, a round of applause. Hey, good on you for taking the fight. Good performance. See you next time out. Keep doing your thing at 160, and on we go. But I think what you're going to get from Boots is not quite this virtuoso pound-for-pound #1 performance, but you're also not going to get him being exposed. You're going to get something in the middle where he wins, and he wins without controversy in a good, fun, entertaining, competitive fight. But if you were left hoping Roy Jones or even Terrence Crawford, you're going to be a little let down by that. And then then the people who are ready to give Ennis his credit, they're going to be being combative in the aftermath of that fight with people overly criticizing him and saying, man, he's not that, he's not this, and showing all these different shots of him getting clipped and saying, could you imagine if that was Virgil? Could you imagine if that was Fundora? And what might just be the reality is he's the best fighter at 154 who still has to prove it against Fundora and Ortiz. But I think that'll overall be it. Like a lot of reasonable people who are objective are going to be in the middle. Like, you know, he had some moments that could be taken advantage of. Maybe Ortiz does beat him. Maybe Fundora does beat him. But he also might be perhaps the best fighter in one of the very best divisions in boxing. That's what I think you're going to get. That's my early prognostication is 116, 112 Boots, 115, 116, 111 Boots, 115, 112. I think at some point he's either going to hurt Zayas or drop him, or drop him with a body shot, maybe knock him down at some point. I think that'll come like midway through the fight, middle back half of the fight, and Zayas will pull himself together, fight strong to the end, fight well to the end, and he'll lose, 8-4, 7-5-ish, maybe even 9-3. It'll be in that ballpark, I think, with a knockdown along the way. That's just my early thoughts on that fight. So, but I don't count Zayas out, man. He said Bozy Ennis is 0-2 against Top Rank. I said in the aftermath of Murataya and Cruz that Bozy got outcoached by Robert Garcia, and Javier Centeno is not the accomplished, decorated trainer that Robert Garcia is, but he did learn under Angelo Dundee, and I think Bozy has yet to put together like a really great game plan for Duran. I think Duran just goes out and is Duran. He's adaptable, flexible, creative, dynamic, ridiculously talented, and he gets the job done based on all of that. But I think Team Zayas is going to be the one more completely dialed in from a game plan standpoint, and they need to be. Zayas is talented and a good athlete, but there's a gap there still between himself and the gifts of Duran Ennis. So they're going to have to make up for that gap with discipline and game plan and things of that nature. So I think they will. And I think it's going to be a good fight. It's the fight I'm the most looking forward to this year. Probably completely so far this year. I'm more hyped for this fight than I was for Teofimo and Shakur. That's just me. I get it. Teofimo and Shakur was Madison Square Garden, 2 pound-for-pound top 10 guys, like a surefire Hall of Fame bid on the line. 2 guys who've been lineal champions, 2 guys who are decorated, 2 guys who've been talked about for years at some point fighting each other. But just me personally, more excited for Zayas and Ennis. Is that just me, chat? And another good thing about this fight was we didn't have to agonize over it for months and months. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? It's great when fights come together quickly so that before you know it, there's a date, there's a venue, and now it's just time to gear up and be excited for it. And not all this back and forth between fan bases and all this bullshit about who's ducking who and is it going to come together and who's the A side and all. And it's just like, boom, it's done. It was discussed about like 2 weeks ago, and then within a week it was done, signed, sealed, and delivered, and then you could just get excited. So So yeah, boot stoppage 8 through 10. Swavey says Zayas does slow down in the later rounds. Yeah, and he probably, and there's a chance he will too, because he's got a lot of weight to lose, man. He looks like 180, 185. He's going to have to drop like 30, 25 pounds over the next 12 weeks, which is a lot. And he's young, and that's the age you can do it. But I don't know. I think a move up to 160 is going to benefit him. So Maria says, hey, Sean, hey, chat, this should be fun. It will be fun. We will have fun, Maria. Zip Fair Breezy says, Sean, do you have Boots beating both Virgil and Xander? And then who's stopping Boots from Undisputed or the pound-for-pound list? I think Virgil, Zayas, and Fundora are all threats. I think Fundora and Virgil are probably a little bit more threat than Zayas. They're more in their prime than Zayas. They're better punchers than Zayas. So I suspect they are, but we'll see. We got to let things play out. You know, maybe punchers and volume isn't Ennis's kryptonite. Maybe a smart, educated, athletic boxer is his kryptonite. And again, I think Ortiz's athleticism as a fighter is understated. I think he has very, very good hand speed. I actually think Ortiz is faster than Zayas in terms of just pure combination punching kind of hand speed. But Zayas is a very, very decent to good athlete, and he has very, very good feet. And that was one of the elements of Chukajan that made Ennis look more human than superhuman. So let's see how he deals with Zayas. It's a hell of a fight. I'm really looking forward to that fight, as you could tell. I'm going to take my family out to Brooklyn, the Kingdom of Brooklyn, Vietnam, to go see it. And we'll see, man. May the best man win. My pick is Ennis. It's hard for me to pick against Ennis, despite him tantalizing me with wanting to pick against him because he leaves his chin exposed and his amateur background of fighters like Gary Antoine Russell, from what guys in the amateurs like Rolly told me. He said, I mean, Rolly told me that Gary Antoine dogged him out, you know, that Ennis got dogged out, that Gary Antoine bit on his mouthpiece multiple times and beat him. And little things like that from the amateurs, as talented as he was, he didn't make the Olympics kind of thing. And there's a lot of great champions from the modern era ever since America stopped doing great in the Olympics that's the case with. But between that and sometimes being a splash player on defense, where one sequence he looks great and then the next sequence he's getting caught clean, and you know, it tantalizes me to be like, this dude, he might get beat by one of these guys and might be a great talent but not a great fighter. But all that talent, I'll go with it. I'll go with it. He does some special things in the ring, and has a really good blend of hand speed and punching power, and has a really good jab, and has really good body shots to go with all that creativity and flair. So we'll see. I think he's shown enough holes that I can't say he's the next Bud Crawford. And obviously his resume at his age leaves a lot to be desired. But he's a special talent. And I can't lose sight of that. I can't lose sight of what a special talent he's always been as a professional. So he's hard to pick against. I feel like right now, Fundora is the interim number one. I feel like he's the longest tenured champion. Well, I don't feel like that. He is. He beat Zhu in the aftermath of Jermell, moving up to 68. Zhu was kind of considered the number one next in line guy. Fundora beat him. And then ever since then, it's been a free-for-all. Like, no one's got a concrete claim to number one. The throne is vacant at 154. So what I feel like, right now, I feel like it's Fundora at number one. I'm going to be a traditionalist and give credit to titles, even though they do a lot to discredit themselves. I think Ortiz would beat Zayas, but I'll put Zayas number 2 right now because of the hardware, 2 belts. I'll put Ortiz number 3, and I'll put Ennis number 4. I feel like after Boots and Zayas, I feel like the winner of that fight's either going to be 1A or 1B. And I'll put the winner at 1A, and I'll put Fundora at 1B, and then I'll put Ortiz behind them. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking the winner of I'm thinking the winner of Zayas and Ennis gets to be number one in the division, but I can't even. I would put like Fundora 1B because I have to give him some kind of respect for being the longest reigning guy. He vacated his belt to Zayas. He complained about it to my guy Brian Custer about the sanctioning body stripping me and undisputed. There's too many politics, and it's like, well, bro, that just like I told Jermell Charlo, that's how it goes. If you don't defend against the guy. And Zayas was I was going to say a sexy fight, but I get dragged for using that terminology, was an appetizing fight. I think we would agree. Zayas was, a puppy, 22 years old when he pulled up at the Cordell Booker fight, but I liked that fight. I liked it more than a Tim Tszyu rematch. Ultimately, the Tim Tszyu rematch wound up being fun, and it produced, at the time, Fundora's best performance, and he put an end. It wasn't a waste of time. The Tim Tszyu rematch wasn't a waste of time. It allowed him to close the book on that rivalry, on that and still people would point out he got bombed out by Bakram Murtazaliev in 3 rounds in between fight 1 and fight 2, which is fair to note. But it allowed him to slam the door shut on that chapter between the two of them, so it wasn't a waste of time. But yeah, I think I wanted to see the Zayas fight more. So Zayas got one of his belts. He beat a quality fighter. And Abis Barrow to get a second belt. So if Ennis or if Zayas can defend successfully against Ennis, or Ennis can knock him off and take those 2 belts off of him, I think you could, 2 beats 1 in the hardware department. The WBA, WBO belts over the WBC. Fundora has himself and his team to blame why he vacated one of them. Can't complain and cry about it. And I like Fundora, but I'll say Fundora is still 1B. And the winner of Boots and Ennis, or Boots and Zayas, is 1A. So what's up, C Money? C Money, man, you were mad at me for months about the Shakur fight. Oh, I can't. Hey, I give it. Shakur's top 5 pound for pound. I'm voting for him in the Hall of Fame already at 28. But so I wanted a couple extra left hands, a couple combinations here and there, a little bit more on the offensive side. He couldn't miss the guy. You thought I had something against the guy. Andre Ward and Terrence wound up telling him the same thing, bro. So, but shout out to Shakur, man. I like that he retweeted my tweet about Moses Saitama resembling him. So that just shows you I'm not on some hater shit, but I'm holding him to very high standards. So, and the fight wasn't the best to me. That's why, again, truthfully, I'm more excited for Boots and Zayas, But Shakur's always been the goods. That's stating the obvious. And to Shakur's credit, everybody I talk to in boxing, fighters, they say he's the guy. They say nobody's gonna beat him. So, yeah, man, all credit to Shakur Stevenson. That's an easy one. But let's see what else. Fundora versus Thurman was $75. I know it's not an easy sell. I hear you. Okay, and the undercard was not good. That undercard severely needed the Frank Sanchez Richard Torres fight to not get postponed, and the undercard was bad. I mean, we were through the first 2 fights of the night, 30 minutes into the night. And the heavyweight, Big Gog, he, big guy, strong guy, but he's not some wow, look at this next heavyweight prospect. Yoenli Hernandez did his thing. He's really good. Props to Yoenis Tellez for biting down with his nose fucked up from a headbutt and beating Brian Mendoza. But yeah, I'm not. Look, ideally that fight would have just been free on Prime, but boxing's in a weird spot right now where if you don't have DAZN or the Saudis willing to lose money on your fight, you have to go on pay-per-view, like PBC did for Fundora Thurman, like that promotional company had to do for Subriel Matias and Dalton Smith, even though that fight was on DAZN pay-per-view. But it's not like if they probably just had a distribution deal with them. Or was Matias and Dalton Smith on DAZN? Yeah, was it, chat? I think it was. I think it might have been. It might not have been. Can someone refresh my memory on the Dalton Smith Matias? Point being, if you don't have DAZN or the Saudis willing to go into the red for you, you're going to have to put your shit on pay-per-view, and that sucks for the fans that got to foot the bill. So I get it. But that is, unfortunately, the economic reality of boxing right now. And Paramount, too, giving Zuffa $100 million a year for boxing too. It's not like they're probably turning a profit on that. I mean, paying the guys they've been paying good six-figure paydays, and I'm happy for them. Julian Rodriguez, Andreas Cortez, who we have on the channel from interviewing them this week. That's good stuff, but if they were forced to eat what they kill and we're still paying those guys that much, those ventures would be in the red too. So, I hear you. I'm being an apologist. I worked on the show. I get it. But that is the reality. And that's, it's not good. It's not good. Hey, I'm not telling you had to fucking spend that money to watch it. It's a tough ask. That's on Al Heyman for not getting with the times. Well, getting with the times would appear to be going to DAZN. But, again, DAZN's been a money loser most of its tenure. I like the commentary team now of Mannix and Mora, especially. They've really gotten a lot better, and I enjoy their commentary now. I've been enjoying... DAZN's been feeling more and more like boxing. Although these overseas cards, it's a lot of blowhards. I know I sound like I'm being a prick, but I'm just being honest. It's like, there he is, Anthony Joshua, Derek Chisora. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Shout out to Denzel Bentley getting the WBO title on the undercard. I like Denzel Bentley. But, DAZN, I don't know. Feels like, Leonard Blavatnik, Russian Jewish oligarch guy. Doesn't seem to mind losing billions of dollars over the years. I still don't know how much of a foothold DAZN has in the mainstream consciousness. But you know what? Why count other people's money and worry about that shit so much? I do like a number of fights they're putting on. I even subscribed to DAZN Ultimate today. Because at this point, it makes no sense to buy pay-per-views for $50 a piece when I could just buy $45 a month and get all the pay-per-views. So I did that. I did that today. It made sense. And yeah, right now, DAZN, outside of Paramount with Zuffa, which is really just a tack-on property in the beginning stages for TKO, it's like, hey, we're really doing this deal for UFC, and then we got this boxing thing we need money for too. And Paramount with the Ellisons and Trump pushing through the merger and everything, and them all politically in bed together with Ari Emanuel and all this other shit. It's like, sure, whatever you need. Boom, here you go. They strong-arm Netflix out of the Warner Brothers Discovery merger and all that kind of shit I've already talked about. But, yeah, man, it's either the Saudis losing money on you, DAZN, the company, losing money on you, or Paramount floating you a big budget because... And they're in debt. I mean, their stock has went down since acquiring Paramount since acquiring Warner Brothers, because it wasn't a above the boards kind of merger. It was a strong arm merger because Trump's son-in-law has a stake of equity in the merger, and Trump's former agent Ari Emanuel has something to do with it, and the Saudis have something to do with it on that end too, and Israel backing Kushner's private equity for all kinds of political shit. So nobody's really turning a profit, and if you don't want to spend $80 on Fundora Thurman, I get it, trust me. So do what you got to do. Times are hard right now. I bought this thing of Skittles bubblegum. They make that now, right? Of Skittles bubblegum, and it was $8.79 the other week. It was like this, chat. It was this big, and it was almost $9. It was almost $9 fucking dollars. And I go to the nice lady at the gas station up in Boulder City, the peaceful streets of Boulder City, where I visit family at sometimes on my wife's side. And I said, "Damn, $9 for this fucking Skittles gum thing?" And she's like, "We're not gonna make it." It was kind of funny. It was kind of a classic quote, and I chuckled and I went like, "You serious? You really feel like that?" She's like, "Yeah, it's bad out here." She's like, "I'm working 2 jobs, and it's not working. It's not going good." And so yeah, whatever you got to do with your money, whether you want to not support a fight, whether you want to do the DAZN Ultimate, whether And you already got Paramount Plus, and you're watching seasons 1 through 3 of the golden age of SpongeBob. Some of us are doing that with our kids, and then you get a free slate of competitive fights with some good prospects on Zuffa. Do what you got to do. And I do like some of the prospects on Zuffa, and then we got a few of them on the channel. Who was that kid? That Roberts got, the 18-year-old. Is it his last name is either Cardenas or Alvarado. 18-year-old kid. Might have been Emiliano Cardenas, Emiliano Alvarado. We got time. The zone's killing time before we get to Wilder Chisora, so I'll kill time. Hold on. Emiliano Cardenas. I think that might be it. Yeah. Emiliano Cardenas. I like this kid. No. No. He's good, but no, that's not who I was thinking of. I'm thinking of Robert Garcia's 18-year-old. Emiliano Alvarado? It's the 18-year-old kid. Yeah, okay. See, that is confusing for one of them to be Emiliano Cardenas, Emiliano Alvarado. Emiliano Alvarado, I like him. I like Robert Merriweather. I like Troy Nash. They got a couple good prospects. They're going to hit. They're going to hit on some of those prospects. Some of them are going to turn into next level guys. So I'm not, don't be hating. So I got to look in the mirror and be Jamie Kennedy from Malibu's Most Wanted sometimes. I got to tell myself, don't be hating. So, please commentate when the main event starts. I will. It's just not time yet. Panama, what's up, Panama? Good to see you, brother. Said Gary Jonas recently said during the Lester post-fight, look how far Pro Box is spread because we put it for free on YouTube. I agree. I think if Aram was 30 years younger, he'd say, fuck it, put it on YouTube. I think he would. I know this joke has gotten old and corny for me, but I think he'd go, Aiden fucking Ross does it. Put it on YouTube. So, Sean, you're a hip-hop head. How you feel about Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane? That's past my time, sir. I'm an unk. I'm still more invested in the Tupac Puffy beef. I still feel like the Tupac Puffy beef is more relevant than any rap beef in 2026. So, Tupac is still haunting his enemies from the grave. Okay? That's why people like Dr. Dre at the halftime show of the Super Bowl played a little medley of I Am Mad at Ya. It was to be like, please, Tupac, don't haunt me from beyond the grave. Respect to you, Don Machiavelli. But that's how I feel. This would have been on HBO Boxing After Dark. I don't even think HBO would have taken this fight. HBO didn't always take fights that sold. If they felt like this fight is like a heavyweight version of like Roy Jones against Jeff Lacey. And HBO was not even showing that fight. I mean, think of after the third Tarver fight, they showed the Calzaghe fight because Calzaghe was Calzaghe. But HBO, once guys got to a certain point in their career, even if they could still sell some tickets and move a few pay-per-views, they'd move off of you. So, all right, here we go. Main event time. Deontay Wilder, plus 140 underdog, walk into the ring with his team. Wilder with a golden cross around his neck, kind of a Michael Jackson kind of outfit type robe going on, black and gold. And this could be the last time we see Deontay Wilder. I think it is if he loses this fight. I'm favoring Chisora, but only favoring him. I'm not fully convinced he wins this fight. Wilder will have a square in front of him target in Chisora. Chisora does get low. He does cross his arms. He does tuck his chin. He does know how to get low and take shots on the top of the head and not on the sweet spot, the KO spot. But Wilder, with his right hand, even if it's deteriorated, could still just knock him out, hitting him on the hardest part of the head. Once upon a time, he definitely could have done that. And here comes the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. No Dice asking what's his legs look like. I saw his legs in training for this fight. They look very thin. They looked very thin against Tyler Herndon or Anthony Herndon, whoever Herndon's first name was. Sorry to him. But Tell her to take Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora, massive man, 40-pound weight advantage over the bronze bomber Deontay Wilder. Once the most feared puncher in all of heavyweight boxing. 40 pounds the lighter man will try to go back to being the Deontay Wilder of old. Let's see. Both guys in their 40s. Chisora 42. Wilder with a 9-inch reach advantage. 40 pounds lighter than Chisora. So, what you're seeing is two past their prime heavyweights who are going to give a violent show. Remember back in the day? So, there's your Max. I don't know. I get a little shy these days. I haven't been on as many lives lately. So, Panama saying Wilder's legs always look thin. Indeed, they do. My illegal stream is showing Ammo Williams versus Adamas. What's up, Still Trolling Network? And so, all right, Wilder's set to come to the ring. I actually feel like Wilder has been a little underrated in the aftermath of his prime being over. Once upon a time, fighters like Ernie Shavers and Ron Lyle were romanticized as late starters and limited punchers. The narrative wasn't, man, their skills suck. It was, wow, they could really fucking punch. And for Wilder, it's just been a lot of, wow, his skills sucked, and wow, PBC protected him, and all those things. And okay, fine, I get it, but I think he was an underrated athlete at his size. He always was in good shape. He looked like a heavyweight. He looked like an athlete. And the era that was previous to him, the Klitschko era that Vlad and Vitaly dominated, once Lennox retired, was filled with pudgy guys, old guys, out-of-shape fighters, blown-up cruiserweights. And then Wilder and Joshua came along towards the end of Klitschko's reign, and Fury, and the division started to look like actual athletes again compared to the era previous to that. And Wilder was a part of ushering that in. And again, at 6'7", 215, 225, 220, he looked good in the ring. And was never a technician, but I think his ability to manipulate distance with the threat of his right hand, I think he could move around the ring relatively well for a man his size. He would move about the ring, circle the ring, and make you have to keep your hands in your pocket a lot with the threat of his right hand. He knew enough of his distance to slow the fight down, had enough of a jab, enough of a lead hand to keep you honest on the outside, to set up the right hand, and then at some point he'd lower the boom with pretty good speed for a man 6'7" in the heavyweight division. He was almost always the faster fighter, and I think he's been a little underrated and definitely is one of the all-time punchers in heavyweight history. And I just remember growing up and guys like that being romanticized instead of detracted from, Shavers and Lyle and fighters like that. So Wilder is in the ring now, King of God on the back of his robe, or King of God's Army on the back of his robe. Deontay Wilder has a good energy walking into the ring about him. Looks ready to fight. Got a good game face on. And from a body language standpoint, like what I see from Deontay Wilder heading into this fight. So let's see what we got. Ryan Garcia. I don't got the music on. Did he come out to Christian music? Wilder was at his best, being anointed by God from his grandma. Then when he kind of got into the super spiritual magical powers, it was kind of like downhill from there. So, hey, the Christian Wilder, that might be good. That might be going back to vintage Wilder. We'll see. All right, all the Brits. Now Chisora, Derek Chisora. Battle-tested heavyweight lion. Yeah, Chisora, who's a psycho. Kind of a self-admitted jerk, but people love him in the UK. Comes in with the cowboy hat, the Union Jack around his face, looking like he's ready to do a robbery with it. Here he comes. Now, Chisora at times does remind me of the rugged 90s heavyweight contenders like Dokes, like Tony Tubbs, those guys might have been just as much 80s as 90s, but yeah, Michael Dokes and Tony Tubbs and Burt Cooper, little bit of Razor Ruddock. Like, sometimes he gives me those vintage vibes of those bottom 10 heavy of the top 10, just outside the top 10, bottom of the top 10, 8 through 10, 7 through 10 kind of heavyweights who could fight and were rough and could give the top guys on their best night, especially if they were off a touch, their hands full. So here we go with Derek Chisora. What's up, Tay-Day? Chisora's a rugged guy, man, and he's crafty. He's crafty. You don't get to fight until you're 42 years old and give all the fighters you've given their hands full. Usyk, I think, still would tell us his toughest night as a heavyweight was probably one of the Fury fights, the second Joshua fight too, but I think he might say his toughest fight was actually Derek Chisora as a heavyweight. Usyk hadn't yet really made the transition. He was still fresh to the division. He had only fought like Chaz Witherspoon and hadn't grown into his heavyweight frame yet. And Chisora roughed him up, man. Took him the distance, beat him up a little bit in the early rounds, got to his body, roughed him up, and really was on his ass. Like, he suffocated Usyk for portions of that fight. And then they had a Five Guys burger after the fight, and he really earned Usyk's respect. So Chisora, he roughed up Joseph Parker, made him have to fight twice. I think their first fight was a split or a majority decision. So yeah, he beat Joe Joyce, knocked out Gerald Washington, beat up Otto Wallin, beat Kubrat Pulev. He's on a good streak, man. He's on a good streak. So the NI says, who you got, Sean Zittel? Love your show since the Fight Hype days. Thank you, brother. I'm leaning towards Chisora, but let's see. Wilder might walk him into a right hand. Chisora's going to be squared up and in front of him, but he gets low. He gets in everybody's chest. He gets in Wilder's chest. It's not going to be good for Wilder. Those 40 pounds leaning on Wilder along the ropes, those clubbing shots, I don't think Wilder could take a shot anymore. Not really. So if he has to take shots from Chisora, who's never been, relatively speaking, in the heavyweight division, a big puncher, but he's 266 pounds and is a physically strong guy. He starts clubbing Wilder along the ropes and gets in his chest. I think he stops Wilder. So let's just see what happens. Can Wilder bomb him out before Chisora cuts the distance and gets in his chest? So, Still Trolling Network says this is supposed to be a layup for Wilder if he has anything left. If he loses, I'm calling him trash. I don't think he has anything left. I don't know, but we'll see. I think when it comes to taking a punch, he's shot. I don't think he could take punches like that anymore. So let's see what's up. So, Chisora is smart. You know he spars in 24-ounce gloves as well as his sparring partners. I didn't know that. Well, that helps preserve him in training. That'll help you get to 42 years old. But Wilder's never been the same since Fury. No, he hasn't. Not since that third Fury fight. That fight was... Neither one of them has. To be real. Neither one of them's been the same since the third Fury fight. So let's see what's up. 33 Muley says Dokes beats Chisora all day. Well, yeah, fighters were just kind of better back then, to be real. Heavyweight, I'm sure he outweighs Dokes though. Tom Cahill says Wilder will catch him. Not out of the question. Wilder's been trash. Let's be honest. I don't think he was trash in the Luis Ortiz days. Like, certainly was flawed. certainly was limited to a degree, but I think 6'7" with pretty solid athleticism and a huge right hand. He was once upon a time a formidable package, you know. That's what I think. But I understand the popular opinion right now, ever since he's deteriorated and become what seems to be shot, is he was always trash. And I don't think so. I think, you know, a prime Wilder, which was, 2018 or so, I think he was a formidable force in the heavyweight division. I think like guys like Lennox and Vitali, and they would have beat him up and knocked him out. And what Fury did in the best night of his career, you know, he wound up beating him up. But I think for a majority of heavyweights, Wilder was not an easy out at his best. So I'll give him respect in his younger days, would never have gotten an Olympic medal. Exactly, he won a bronze. Like, he won a bronze medal in the Olympics, you know. And in that first, against a guy much smaller than him, who's a sitting target in Bermain Stavern. But in that first fight against Stavern, he showed a good jab and moved around the ring well. Weak professional resume. Yeah, I agree. You know, Luis Ortiz's best win, an older guy. But I think, again, at his prime, he was... The first Fury fight happened in 2018. Yeah, that Wilder, who came within a second of knocking out Tyson Fury, who I think earned that draw. I think that fight was a deserved draw. Now, what happened in fights 2 and 3 is what happened in fights 2 and 3. But I think Wilder around that time was a formidable foe, like, for sure. Ortiz was no slouch. He earned a draw against Fury. So, yeah, he was good. Not of the opinion he was always trash. At all. So here we go. Main event time. They touch gloves. Go back to their corners. Chisora not really in good shape, but not in horrible shape either. Still got a good build to him. Soft around the midsection. Wilder, the little bit more perspirant of the two fighters. Chisora dry. Got to be careful about getting caught cold here. And let's see round 1. Wilder getting off with a jab. Wilder backing up, fencing with his jab. Chisora coming in with his jab, getting low to his right side. Chisora dipping his head down, and he gets Wilder to the ropes for the first time, and Wilder ties him up. Chisora trying to punch with a right hand, free right hand of the body. Ref breaks him up in the center of the ring. Chisora getting low, shoots a right hand of the body, eats a little touch right hand from Wilder, gets Wilder on the ropes, and hits him kind of to the back of the head in the clinch with his free right hand. Referee warns him for that. Separates him, and it's a little ugly early. Jab from Chisora lands. Wilder's back is near the ropes. Wilder back straight up, gets off balance to his left. Chisora's got him in the corner. Swings away at the body a little bit. A lot of clinching from Deontay. He turns Chisora, but Chisora has already gotten in Wilder's chest a few times, and that may not be good for Wilder. Wilder looks down at the canvas after being separated from that clinch. Chisora has Wilder on the ropes again. Wilder shoots a right hand, but it's smothered, and Chisora gets to Wilder's body. It's ugly action early, but this is the kind of action that favors Chisora more, not allowing Wilder room to breathe and get leverage on his right hand. Wilder in the center of the ring, pawing with his jab, lining up for a right hand, but his back is on the ropes again, and he's got to fire before he gets to the ropes. He fires a big right hand. Chisora stays away from it, ties him up. Wilder turns him onto the ropes. Wilder not liking the punches to the back of the head. He tells the referee. Wilder cocks his jab. Back on the ropes again. Big right hand. Doesn't land. Chisora misses with a right hand. Right uppercut by Wilder with his back near the ropes. Clubbing right hand by Wilder. Chisora working to the body a little bit in the middle of those right hands. But Wilder not able to get comfortable here in round 1. But it's an ugly fight early on. Chisora getting low. Gets Wilder to the ropes again. Wilder ties him up. They club each other in the clinch a little bit. Chisora working his right hand to the body while both fighters are tied up. Referee having to separate these guys a lot. Wilder continues to look off out of these clinches. Not great body language there. Chisora backs Wilder near the ropes. Big right hand by Wilder, but again, back near the ropes. Kind of a get off me right hand. Not able to set his feet in the center of the ring. Chisora ties him up again. 40 seconds left. Joshua yelling something at ringside, probably for Chisora. Wilder's back is near the ropes again. Ugly left hook misses for Wilder. Wilder not looking fast and sharp in round 1. Looking slow compared to the old Deontay Wilder. But Chisora not looking good either. Chisora clubs a right hand. Wilder hits him with a right hand in the clinch. Chisora punching to the back of Wilder's head. Wilder getting punched to the back of a head. And Wilder tackling Chisora into the ropes. Referee having to separate these guys. Someone from Chisora's corner gets in the ring, and that could be a disqualification in round 1 by the rules of the book. The ref is going to warn Wilder for tackling Chisora into the ropes, but to Wilder's credit, Chisora is punching him to the back of the head. Referee having to separate a lot of ugly action in round 1. And we're getting a washed war, chat. Getting 2 washed fighters looking ugly, looking sloppy, looking every bit their age, but it's chaotic in round 1. Wilder holding his ground in the center of the ring, lands a jab, steps off to his left, and that'll do it for round 1. An ugly first round where, based on ring generalship, you might give it to Derek Chisora. I'd give it to Derek Chisora because he controlled the real estate, which was ugly chaos on the inside with Wilder's back along the ropes. Wilder trying to send a message down the stretch of that round by tackling Chisora into the ropes, almost launching him over the top rope a little bit, while Chisora's punching to the back of his head. Ugly stuff in this early on washed war. Thank you for the super chat, Big James. Thank you, brother. Says, I love boxing. That's all. Well, thank you, James. I appreciate that, my man. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you for the 20. So, yep, 1-0 Chisora. Chisora was punching to the back of Deontay's head, and Deontay tried to, fight some fire with fire by tackling him over the top ropes, put an elbow in his chest, on his chin. But that is Chisora's kind of fight. All right, here we go. Round 2. Wilder backed onto the ropes. He slides off a little bit to his right. Big left hook for Wilder. Misses. That's not really a great punch in his repertoire. But Wilder's timing and accuracy off early in this fight. Chisora not looking good either. Right hand from Wilder, smothered Chisora, getting low, clubbing shots to the body. Not a lot of leverage on those body shots by Chisora, but Chisora continues to make Wilder's back touch the ropes from rope to rope. His work isn't that effective just yet, but that kind of fight is what could favor Chisora. Wilder trying to maintain his composure and line him. Right uppercut by Wilder. Lands for Wilder. Wilder with a right hand out of the clinch. Another right hand. Chopping right hand by Wilder. Chisora's a little hurt. Chisora backed into a corner now. And Wilder digging down. The referee separating a little prematurely on Wilder, telling him not to punch to the back of the head. But Chisora gives him the back of the head with the way he gets low. Straight right hand from Wilder. Now that's a good right hand from Wilder. Left hook to the body by Wilder. And Chisora comes back with a right hand, but he eats a right hand. Chisora's buzzed. Chisora is buzzed. Wilder smells blood a little bit. Shoots a straight right hand with Chisora along the ropes. Misses a left hook. Wilder is showing composure here. He may not have the speed he once had. Both fighters are breathing heavy, but he's trying to dig down here and find enough to knock Chisora out early. This is a good round so far for Wilder, and that right uppercut started it. Halfway through the round, Wilder slowing down the pace. That'll benefit him. Chisora hits him with a jab. Wilder with his chin up in the corner. Chisora gets to the body a little bit. Clinches Deontay, hitting him with clubbing shots on the inside with his left hand. Wilder turns him onto the ropes, leans on him. Referee breaks them apart. Both guys already breathing heavy. It's been a physical fight. Wilder measuring with his jab. Back is on the ropes. Lost a little bit of steam from that spurt earlier in the round. Minute left in the round. Referee breaks him apart. Wilder keeps looking away at when he gets separated on the clinch. Measuring with his jab is Wilder. Measuring with his lead hand. Now he's in the corner again. Chisora too short to reach him. Chisora goes to the canvas on a knee. Tired. Kind of an awkward moment there. 40 seconds left in the round. This is a Wilder round. Wilder, big straight right hand with Chisora walking in. Clubs the right hand again with Chisora getting him on the ropes. Double right hand in the clinch for Chisora. Body head. Referee having to really separate two big guys often and early. Wilder backing up, a little off balance. Shoots the right hand, overshoots a good right hand for Chisora with Wilder along the ropes. Best right hand of the fight for Chisora. Short clubbing shot. They get ugly in the clinch again. Both guys letting their right hands go without any real leverage. Just short little clubbing shots out of the clinch. Right uppercut again for Wilder. Chisora smothered it, though, on the chest. 1-1. That's a round for Wilder. Wilder did buzz Chisora earlier in that round. So, 19-19 early. Let's see what we got. It's sloppy. Slop fest, says Lord Burlap. It is sloppier than a motherfucker. But that's okay. Man, this is an ugly fight so far, which is what we expected. My wife's in the chat. Love you, babe. What's up, Mr. Quake? And yeah, it is sloppy early. It is sloppy early. 1-1 and ugly, says Maria. Yep. But this is what I expected. I expected an ugly, washed war. Say, hey, Chikian, where's my guy Chikian? We called it, bro. Washed war. Slopper knocker, not a slobber knocker. Sloppy fest. And I was like, okay, I like it, Mr. Quake. All right, round 3. Chisora switches southpaw, tries to cut the distance. Wilder is showing some composure here early, though. Chisora is cutting the distance, making it rough, fouling at times, forcing him to foul, too. Chisora squares his body up, leads with a right hook. Wilder ties him up. Wilder even doing a punch on the top of the head, punching down like this in the clinch. Referee got his hands full, literally and figuratively. Chisora eats a right uppercut again. That right uppercut is finding a home for Wilder. Right uppercut to the body by Wilder, too, right after that. That's been the best punch for Wilder early. Wilder is fun. Oh, straight right hand by Wilder off the stiff arm. Just missed. Chisora crafty enough to get underneath shots. The zone's got it 20-18 for Wilder. I got it 1 round apiece, but I'm okay with that. Chisora not able to really get any effective work. Wilder smiling in the clinch, looks out at somebody in the crowd and nods as if to say, I got him. And he might. Chisora coming forward, squaring up, switching southpaw, keeping his chin low, keeping his body low. Wilder might be looking for that uppercut again. Chisora trying to get to the body of Wilder, but Wilder's a little too tall, a little too long early on, and he's clinching intelligently in spots, not letting Chisora work once he gets to the real estate he wants to get to. Sharp, nice little right hand by Wilder over the top of Chisora's jab. Chisora's hurt again. Little right uppercut by Wilder. He leans on Chisora. Chisora is feeling some of these right hands by Wilder, and Wilder is steadying himself as this fight is going on. He's clinching when he needs to, not letting Chisora work. Misses a left hook, misses a right hand, but Chisora too short of arms, and then once Chisora gets in where he needs to get, lands a couple of right hands to the body, but he's not able to really just work freely. Wilder is a big enough, strong enough man to tie him up when he gets in Wilder's chest. Chisora missing with a right hook, dangerously reaching for punches at times. Could walk into a right hand, little short right hand by Wilder off the ropes. Chisora being tied up, working in the clinch. Chisora no doubt outworking Wilder when he gets inside, but Wilder is clinching him and not allowing him to really work freely and get leverage on his shots. Wilder's back touches the ropes again. Jab lifts up his head a little bit, but these are reaching jabs by Chisora without his feet underneath him. Wilder trying to walk him into a right hand, turns him, misses the right hand. Oh, it's an ugly fight. But it is Wilder able in short spots to get actual leverage on some of his shots. Chisora is asking for a break, and Wilder doesn't let him get a break. He starts chopping away at him right away. Does Chisora not want to fight anymore? I don't know. He asked for a break, and the ref wanted to give it to him, and Wilder said, fuck that, and that'll do it. Chisora gets the early 10-second bell, too. I don't know if Chisora wants to fight anymore. He's having a conversation with the ref. That's another Wilder round. 29-28 Wilder. It's just a bizarre, ugly fight right now. But Wilder is ahead in it. And I don't know what the deal was with Chisora. I don't know what he wants to talk about with the ref mid-fight. I don't know if he wants to fight anymore. Chisora not looking great. He can't get any effective offense done. All he can do is, bull his way in and then punch in the clinch. But Chisora is looking like he's having some second thoughts in the corner. Corner trying to will their man through it, not letting him think of quitting. Now Chisora takes a swig of his water, puts his mouthpiece back out there, but I don't know if the 42-year-old really wants to keep going. Let's see, round 4, 29-28 Wilder. Wilder getting enough leverage off his stiff arm to fire his right hand in spots, and then Chisora clinches him on the inside. Or no, Wilder clinches him once he gets inside. Chisora switching southpaw, getting to Wilder's body. Wilder ties him up some more. Good little short left hooks to the body by Chisora on the inside, but again, not able to really tee it up and get his legs into it because Wilder's tying him up every time he gets there. He's going to have to wear Wilder down, but Wilder has his... Wilder punches to the side of Chisora's head. Chisora is getting off balance by some of these shots. Both fighters landing to the side and to the back of the head, but Wilder has adjusted and said, if it's going to be rough, if we're going to punch to the back of the head, I'm going to punch to the back of the head too. Wilder getting some distance, creating some distance. Chisora's out there. Now Chisora gets inside. Wilder ties him up. Chisora touching the body with his free hand in the clinch. Minute into the 4th round. But Wilder is still processing and thinking in there. Wilder's back is on the ropes. Lead left hook from Wilder. Gets Chisora's attention. Drives him off. Creates separation. Wilder stiff arm. Nice sharp jab by Wilder that time. Short left hook with Chisora boring in. Chisora gets tied up once he gets close. Throws Wilder to the canvas a little bit. That's going to take some energy out of Wilder. Ugly, ugly fight. Looks like 2 shot fighters in there. But Wilder, a little bit with the advantage early. Right uppercut. Shoryuken just misses for Deontay Wilder. Chisora bores in. Pounds away with a right hand in the clinch to the body. And that's all Chisora's offense has been reduced to early on. Now a jab lands from Chisora. Chisora squares up, gets low, ducks underneath, ducks low. Wilder ties him up as soon as he gets there, punches him to the side of the head. Can't be mad at Wilder for, at times, grazing the back of the head when Chisora kind of started it. 1-2 for Wilder. The sharp right hand lands for Wilder. Chisora eats it. Gets inside, makes Wilder near the corner. Oh, right hand lands for Chisora. His best shot of the fight. And I think Wilder felt it. Clubbing right hand for Chisora. Wilder complains it's to the back of the head. That's the best punch of the fight for Chisora. He got low, threw over the top with an overhand right, and landed on the chin of Wilder. That was a much needed right hand for Chisora, who hasn't been able to get leverage on his punches. Chisora with a clubbing right hand again, and Wilder's hurt. Wilder hurt along the ropes, sticks his tongue out. Chisora gets to his body. Chisora makes the momentum flip here. Chisora has found something with that looping right hand. Wilder, near the end of the bell, is hurt. He's holding on the inside. Throws a little right uppercut. But Wilder, that punch resistance showing, that is a Chisora round. Chisora was on his way to losing the fight 3-1. Didn't look good at the end of the 3rd, but he finally, Chisora, that's the shot. And I don't know if Wilder's going to adjust to that shot. Chisora just getting low and not even having his eye on the target, just winging a right hand over the top, punching upward. And Chisora has that punch in his arsenal. That's been a punch he's had success with against bigger men throughout his career. It crashed on the chin of Wilder and swung the momentum his way. 38-38. There it is. Yep, right on the button for Chisora. And he needed that. This fight wasn't looking too good for him in rounds 2, 3. 4 was ugly, and then there it is. He gets low, and his eyes were actually up. I got to give him credit. He did place that shot. He didn't just wing it with his head down. That was an educated, looping, overhand right hand for Chisora that hurt Wilder towards the end of the 4th. Round 5, here we are. Wilder providing the stiff arm, fencing with the lead hand, shoots the jab, fencing with the lead hand. He's got to take his shot. Take the shot, Deontay. Shoot it. He doesn't. Chisora sweeps the right hand. Now he does. Crashes down on the top of Chisora's head, but Chisora gets low. Takes those shots on the top of the head, not on the sweet spot. Chisora cutting the distance. Nice head movement by Chisora. Gets underneath 2 punches by Wilder. Lifts Wilder's head up with a jab. Lifts his head up with another jab. Cross-arm jab with his stance low. Chisora switching southpaw. Boring in. Goes back orthodox. Lands his jab again. Wilder's backed into the corner now. Clubbing right hand by Chisora over the top. Wilder's fencing with the lead hand. Clubbing right hand just misses for Chisora, and he gets some leverage on that left hook to the body as Wilder had to pull away into the corner and then tie up Chisora. anybody's fight. Two shop-worn shot fighters, but showing heart. Both want to win this one. Wilder shoots a right hand. Down goes Chisora. Out of a clinch, though. Kind of looked like he flopped on the clinch, but I think Chisora might have felt that right hand right before he flopped to the canvas. Chisora might be a little bit buzzed. There was a right hand that preceded that shove by Wilder. But Chisora is good in these spots at just huffing and puffing and continuing on. Wilder with some distance now. This is a dangerous distance for Chisora. Minute 40 left in the fifth. Chisora sweeps a right hand, closes the distance, gets Wilder on the corner. And Wilder let an opportunity there pass. He had some breathing room in the center of the ring and didn't pull the trigger. Halfway through the round, Chisora, two jabs, reaching, clubbing right hand over the top by Chisora. Wilder punching with little short, little ugly right hands out of the clinch, but Chisora gets in his chest after a successful kind of haymaker right hand that didn't have full leverage on it. He had to reach with the punch. Minute 10 left in the round. Anyone's fight. Wilder half steps back, shoots a nice jab. There's a good jab from Wilder. Minute left in the round. Wilder pushes Chisora to the canvas again after Chisora tries to come over the top of Wilder's jab with a clubbing right hand. Wilder pushes him off, and that's taking energy out of Chisora, having to pick that 266 pounds off the canvas. Wilder telling the ref, come on, man, what do you want me to do? Chisora's got to be tired after those two separate occasions having to pull himself off the canvas. Chisora reaching with a jab to the body. Wilder stiff-arming him away. 30 seconds left in the round. There's a right hand to the body by Chisora. Clubbing right hand in the clinch. Wilder punches back to the head again with his own right hand. Both fighters punching in the back of the head plenty. Chisora backs Wilder up into a corner again. This is a close round. Close round. But at this pace, someone's heart's going to give out. And I don't mean figuratively. I mean, someone's going to be so exhausted they just sink to the canvas at some point. Wilder with some distance, but doesn't pull the trigger, and that's it for round 5. Chisora looks the more tired of the two fighters. That was a close, ugly round. I don't know. 48-47 either way. Hopefully we don't need a scorecard at the end of this. But, yeah. 48-47 right now. Either way. So, I think it was certainly 38-38 through 4. Ev Zadi says, at least this is kind of fun to watch. Lord Burlap said the 6th round is the one. Yeah, we'll see. Wilder 3-2. Yeah, I would give the edge maybe to Wilder. I actually think one of those right hands before he got pushed to the canvas hurt Chisora. I didn't even see the push. Like, I even thought Chisora might have flopped to give himself a second to recover from it. So I'll give it Wilder. But I could see it Chisora, too. Chisora's controlling the real estate and roughing him up in the clinches. I don't know. There's not a whole lot to choose from in that 5th round. Round 6, Chisora eats 2 right hands as he bulls himself in. But Wilder without the leverage on it. Wilder with a right uppercut near the ropes, too. Chopping right hand from Wilder near the ropes, too. He misses a left hook. Chisora, right uppercut again by Wilder. Chisora, though, with some head movement, getting low, crossing his arms, tucking his chin. Some shots by Wilder early in the first minute of the 6th round, though. Chisora countered with a left hook coming in. Chisora is buzzed along the ropes, using his head movement, still aware enough to duck underneath those shots of Wilder. But Wilder does look at times just a touch away from landing a real shot that could put Chisora down with some distance between them. 2 minutes left in the round. Chisora looping right hand off his double jab. Wilder ties him up along the ropes. They both work in the clinch. Chisora's bleeding from his left eye, and he blinks some of that blood out of there. I think Wilder is the fresher fighter right now in the 6th. Wilder with some distance between them. Big right hand by Wilder. Chisora eats it and swings away to the body. Right uppercut by Wilder. Chisora slips it, works to the body some more. Chisora's got to throw that looping right hand again. There he does it, but Wilder's in the corner, makes him fall short, ties him up. Wilder with some smiles in the corner. Wilder's face is clean. Chisora's got some blood around his left eye. Halfway through the round, and this is a Wilder round right now. He's the one generating some leverage on his punches. Chisora swings with a right hand to the body, touches with a right hand in the clinch. Wilder ties him up while cornered. Referee breaks him up. Wilder with some distance out of that clinch. Fences with his jab. Straight right hand by Wilder. Chisora smothers him. Chisora working his left hand in the clinch. Punches to the side of Deontay's head in the clinch with his right hand. But there's some distance between them now again. Wilder fencing with that lead hand. Chisora burls his way in. Shoots a left hook to the body. Gets tied up. Chisora with that blood messing up his vision a little bit in his left eye. Wilder looking a little bit more confident and comfortable at spots. Double jab by Chisora. He advances past it. Chopping right hand by Wilder, but Chisora keeps low to where he's not eating that right hand clean, and he's working in the clinches to the body. Not with any leverage. He's being tied up while doing so. Jab lands for Chisora, but he eats a right uppercut by Wilder. Wilder swings a big right hand and misses. But Wilder feels like he's one right hand away. He's just off. 1-2 by Wilder, and Chisora eats it. So that right hand by Wilder, like I said before the fight, not as powerful as it used to be. That was a clean 1-2 by Wilder at the bell, but Chisora ate it. But I got Wilder ahead 58-56 right now, halfway through the fight. Chisora's going to need one of those looping right hands to land again. He's bleeding out of his left eye, cut above his left eye, I should say. I think he's a little bit more tired. He's the fighter struggling to get leverage on his punches because he gets tied up every time he gets close where he wants to work. Wilder is having good right uppercut by Wilder on the slow-mo. Wilder is getting a little bit more room to breathe in spots here, and that's where he has the advantage. There was the right hand, and it did find Chisora's chin. Now, Chisora tucks his chin behind his shoulder a little bit, but that right hand did land for Wilder right at the bell. And Chisora ate it well. So the right hand of Wilder, not what it used to be. Not able to generate the same torque and explosiveness on it. Now Chisora gets Wilder on the ropes, works to the body, gets low, works a couple of left hooks to the body. Now they're back in the center of the ring. Wilder, right uppercut by Wilder off that stiff arm. Wilder's right uppercut has been effective in this fight. Off that Chisora having to take a step out of range for a second there. Not give Wilder the uppercut. Wilder earning his respect by walking him into some uppercuts right now. Stiff arms with the jab. Nice clubbing right hand by Chisora, but Wilder rolls the shot a little bit. DAZN has it even, 3 rounds apiece. I got it 4-2 for Wilder. So, Fan Zone has it even. Carl Frampton has it even. I got it 58-56 Wilder. Jay Diaz in the Wilder corner asking for more activity. Feels that Chisora is weakening. Chisora gets Wilder to the corner, clubs to the body, and cleans up with a left hook up top. Nice left hook for Chisora. And I am being generous with the nice label. Minute into the 7th, Wilder not active so far this round. Outside of that right uppercut in the first 30 seconds. Chisora jabbing his way in. Right uppercut by Wilder again. Chisora reaching for shots from a dangerous distance. Chisora moving his head enough to get out of the way of that dangerous right hand by Wilder after Wilder turns him for reaching with those body shots. Wilder with some distance in the center of the ring. Fencing with that lead hand. Chisora turns southpaw. Chisora swings with 2 body shots. 2 effective body shots there by Chisora. Wilder ties him up. Those were 2 clubbing body shots out of the southpaw stance. Chisora squares up, back in the orthodox stance. Gets underneath Wilder. Wilder ties up. Chisora clubs away with a right hand to the body. In the clinch. That's had to be most of his offense tonight, is clubbing shots to the body in the clinch. Minute left in the round. Chisora outworking Wilder this round. Swings to the back of Wilder's head out of the southpaw stance. Lead left hook for Chisora. Got some leverage on that one. Jumped into the shot. Leapt into it a little bit. Wilder smiles in the clinch. Ugly round, but Chisora being busier. Gets underneath the 1-2 by Wilder. Picks his gloves up, does Chisora. Blocks a few jabs. Tries the jab to the body. Gets underneath a right hand. Wilder ties him up with his back along the ropes. 30 seconds left in the round. Wilder smiling and laughing through this. We are into the second half of the fight. Jab to the body by Chisora. No leverage on it. He's got to reach against the taller man. Wilder fencing with the lead hand. Chisora steps out of range as if to say, I'm not going to give it to you. Then he gets back in range with his own jab. Chisora makes him fall short with the left hand. 1, 2, 3 by Wilder. Chisora gets underneath it, and Wilder tackles him to the canvas. And then does like a little seizure on him. Like, ah! And I don't... It's ugly. It's an ugly fight. I actually think Chisora has won this round, though. Wilder wasn't really active that round. That was a funny physical fit by Wilder after the tackle. I got it 4 rounds to 3 for Wilder. 67-66. I thought Chisora outworked him that round. I thought he got in enough body work. One of those leaping left hooks landed. I think Wilder basically landed a right uppercut early in the round. And then outside of that, actually, Chisora fighting on fumes is still resourceful enough to duck his head underneath some shots. I thought Chisora won the round. How many people we got in here right now? 430. I'll take it. He did a seizure on him, Loke Tuapo. He did. Maria C said, what a muddy mess. It is a mess. It's ugly. It is ugly. It is a washed, chaotic fight. A little fun. But, hey man, I'm morbidly kind of happy they're still shot fighters. Everybody's able to look good into their late 30s and 40s now. I'm happy that shot is still a thing, that these guys are still mortal. Is that wrong of me? I just like truth to prevail. All right, so live odds have this a 50-50 fight. We're in the 8th round now. Referee gives them a pep talk. They're not going to listen. This is going to be ugly the whole way through. Chisora clubbing away to the body of Wilder. Gets him into the corner. Clubbing inside the clinch. Chisora coming out with some steam this round. Short left hook out of the clinch for Wilder. Referee breaks him apart. Anyone's fight. Right uppercut. Big miss for Wilder, but still dangerous with that shot. Right hand for Wilder. Chisora gets underneath it, and Chisora being effective in these clinches, punching with a little bit more steam early in this round in those clinches. Chisora looking with some steam now. Hard right hands to the body in the clinch by Chisora. These punches got a little bit more on him in the clinch early in the 8th for Chisora. Looks like he's going to try to empty some tank here to make a statement. Big right hand for Chisora. Over the top. Wilder smiles. Big straight right hand by Wilder. Chisora's hurt. Another straight right hand by Wilder. Chisora hurt. Chisora is on his way down. He swings at Wilder with Chisora in the ropes. That could be a knockdown. It's not ruled a knockdown. Chisora covering up. Wilder clinching him. Now Wilder's shot is low. Chisora being a survivor, punching out of the clinch with his back on the ropes. Both fighters tired. Chisora thought he was having his moment after a looping right hand, but Wilder returned fire. Chisora's down. And will the ref call it a knockdown? He is. Chisora down in between the ropes. His corner helping him up. What the fuck? Chisora, look, he said, I'm still ready to fight. 8th round, minute left. Chisora down in the 8th. Here comes Wilder. Chisora in the corner. Maybe trying to set a ill-fated trap. Wilder, boom, shoots the right hand. Chisora gets underneath it. Wilder shoves Chisora through the ropes. Chisora through the middle rope is going to need some help getting back in the ring. What a mess of a fight this is. This is one of the sloppiest fights of all time. The referee is gonna warn Wilder, and he's gonna take a point away. Some home cooking for Derek Chisora. Wilder gets a point deducted. That'll negate the knockdown point. So Wilder's gonna have to settle for a 10-9 round instead of a 10-8 round. Some home cooking for Chisora to keep him in the fight. 30 seconds left. Chisora lands a jab. 30 seconds left. Chisora is a tough motherfucker, though. I'll give it to him for even still surviving this moment. 20 seconds left. Wilder, the fresher fighter. He ate Chisora's best shot and then straight right hand for Wilder. Chisora hurt again. 10 seconds left. Chisora, feet not underneath him. Ducks his head underneath. Cornered by Wilder. Sweeps with a right hand. Lands a left hook on Wilder. Gets underneath Wilder's shots. Chisora finishes with a flurry at the bell. And that'll do it for the 8th round. They're fighting after the bell. It's a 10-9 round for Wilder. Because where's the bell? Where is the bell? All right, that's it. Wilder drops Chisora in the 8th. Chisora survives. Gets a point deduction after being shoved through the ropes. I think he flopped a little bit on it too, though. But 10-9 round. I got it 77-75. It's a 10-point must scoring system. It should be a 9-8 round. But, is it a 9-8 round then? I don't know. I got Wilder up 2 points. I got him up 5 rounds to 3. So what happened was Chisora launched that overhand right that hurt Wilder in the 4th. And it landed. And then Wilder, there it is. Boom, right on the button. Wilder smiles at him and shoots a straight right hand off a stiff arm. Another straight right hand. A chopping right hand with Chisora trying to smother him. Chisora was out on his feet a little bit. Badly hurt. He's a tough motherfucker, Derek Chisora. I'll give it to him. But eventually, Wilder kind of pushes off, hits him with a left hook and a short left hand, and it scored a knockdown. Then he gets a point deducted right after. We're in the 9th round. We are in the 9th round. Left hook lands for Chisora. Backs Wilder onto the ropes. I got it 76-74 for Deontay Wilder. Straight right hand lands for Wilder. Looping right hand for Chisora. Tarred right hand in the clinch for Chisora. Doubles it up to the body and to the head. But Wilder is taking whatever Chisora is dishing out well now. He's took his best shot last round. Jab lands for Chisora. Chisora smothering Wilder into the corner. Working the body of Wilder. Wilder ties him up while cornered. Referee, Chisora is blowing gas. Jay Diaz says, come on, Deontay. With Chisora coming out of the corner. Chisora, both fighters showing heart, though. They are well past their best. It's a sloppy, ugly fight, but they are both biting down right now, and you got to give them credit for that. Wilder with some distance between them. Measures with the lead hand. Chisora says nope and backs out on his back foot and bounces around a little bit. Chisora is cornered now by Wilder. Loops a right hand, falls well short, and then throws a left hook out of the clinch. Wilder chops with his right hand in the clinch. It is ugly. Chisora kind of using his head as a weapon there after missing the sweeping right hand. Jab lands for Chisora. Halfway through the round, Wilder short with a right uppercut. Chisora digging to the body while Wilder ties him up. Minute 20 left in the round. Chisora outworking Wilder a little bit this round. 1-2 by Wilder. And Chisora ties him up. Punches with a right hand in the clinch. Minute left in the round. This should be the last fight for both guys. But it probably won't be. Chisora, big miss with the right hand. Wilder gives him that side eye. Shoots his jab a few times. Chisora gets to the inside. Ducks underneath the right hand. Wilder tied up along the ropes. Ties Chisora up. 40 seconds left in the round. Wilder measuring. Big right hand by Chisora. Misses. He reaches with that looping right hand again. Wilder has his respect enough to where he's throwing that right hand too far out because he doesn't want to walk into the right uppercut or the right hand again. Little left hand knocks Chisora off balance. 1-2 by Wilder. Chisora gets underneath it. Chisora tying Wilder up in the center of the ring. 15 seconds left. Close round. Right hand lands for Wilder. He moves off to his left. Big left hand misses for Chisora, and he's off balance. His body language is terrible. Not a lot of... I feel like actually Chisora outworked Wilder that round too, because a lot of the work was just done in the clinch where Chisora is throwing clubbing shots to the body that Wilder's not really concerned with. But Wilder wasn't really able to connect cleanly. The few times he gets off, it looks better. Just the work looks better than Chisora because it has some distance between it and some leverage. But he wasn't really landing on Chisora that round. I gave that round to Chisora. I got this fight, and on the slow-mo replay, they show one of those left hooks getting in for Chisora. Ugly, sloppy left hook, but it got in, knocked some sweat off of Wilder's head. I got this fight close, chat. I got this fight 86. No. I got this fight 85 to 84 for Deontay Wilder. I got this fight 1 point for Wilder right now. I would have him up 2 points if they didn't take away from the knockdown. Thank you for the super chat. Marcellus717, I appreciate it, brother. Back to the action. Round 10. Anybody's fight. I have Wilder slightly ahead. Lead left hook lands for Wilder with some separation. Lead left hook to the body and to the head by Wilder. That was sharp by Wilder. Hell of a left hook to the body. He got some whipping leverage on that shot. Good start to the round by Wilder. Fencing with his left hand. Backing up. Fencing with the left hand. Chisora reaches, misses, has to settle for 2 little clubbing body shots. Wilder angles up. 1-2 lands for Wilder. Chisora ducking his chin down. Takes it well. Wilder fencing with the hand. Chisora has to take a step out of range and reset. Chisora drops his lead hand. Wilder drops his lead hand. Now they're in the center of the ring at a distance that should favor Wilder. Wilder, once upon a time, could have sprang into a right hand right here, but he doesn't have that torque in it. Now a left hook, straight right hand by Wilder. Pins Chisora on the ropes. Chisora smiles at him, says something to him, says, come on. Chisora in the corner, trying to set a trap perhaps, but playing with fire. Nice jab by Wilder. Wilder winning this round, commanding this round early in the first half. 1-2 by Wilder. Chisora dipping his head around, staying in the corner. Cross arms defense by Chisora. 1-2 by Wilder. Another right hand by Wilder. Chisora talking to him, making him kind of miss with these shots, but letting him take his shots. Wilder blinding with the jab. Shoots a left hand. Wilder measuring. Chisora still on the ropes. Chisora tries to set that trap for an overhand right, but misses. Now he switches southpaw. He's squared up. Eats a right hand by Wilder. Wilder on the ropes now. Chisora, big left hook off 2 body shots by Chisora, but he let Wilder command about a minute or a minute and a half of the round there. He did get in a left hook off 2 body shots, did Chisora, when he finally made his move. Chisora southpaw. Wilder making him reach. Right uppercut by Wilder. Chisora slips it. Wilder pawing jab. Steps over to his right. Chisora switching southpaw. Squared up. Some distance between them. Wilder lands his jab. Big right hand for Chisora. Knocks the sweat off of Wilder. But Wilder takes it well. Wilder clinches Chisora and leans on him along the ropes. 30 seconds left in the round. Chisora with some clubbing right hand by Chisora. Works the body. Gets in a left hook without leverage, but gets it in. Works his right hand. Chisora tightening the gap down the stretch of this 10th round. 20 seconds left. He's made it a tougher round to score with his work in the second half of the round. Chisora pins Wilder on the ropes. Gets to his body with 2 body shots. Wilder ties him up. That's kind of been the story of the fight. Chisora had a good second half of the round. But I think he gave too much of the round away. But that was a close round. Chisora got some work done in the second half, but he laid on the ropes and slipped most of Wilder's shots. I'm going back and forth, chat. I actually feel like the most effective punches were Chisora in the last minute 20 or so of the round. I feel like he got some steam on those body shots and cleaned up with a left hook nicely. But Wilder controlled him for the first minute and a half, minute 40. Chisora took a portion of the round off just laying on the ropes. Here's a slow-mo by DAZN. It's a clubbing right hand. I got to give the round to Chisora. He actually landed the best punches of that round. I got it even through 10. But I'm not mad if you gave Wilder that round for Chisora taking a chunk of it off. I got it 94-94 through 10 rounds. I could, if anyone's ahead by a point or two, though, it's Wilder with the knockdown. Chisora coming forward, landing his jab. Wilder fencing him away. Wilder also had a sharp double left hook early in that round, too. Frampton has Wilder up 96-93. I'm not mad at that card at all. I could see that card. Fan Zone has it even. Now a jab lands for Chisora. Backs Wilder in the corner. Wilder back in the center of the ring. Chisora reaching with a jab to the chest. Wilder lands his jab. Steps over to the left. Gives an angle. Chisora switches southpaw. Wilder clubs him with a left hook. 1-2 for Wilder. That right hand lands on the top of Chisora's head. Jab lands for Wilder. Good shot. Wilder in the center of the ring. Chisora gets in his chest. Wilder ties him up. Chisora works with his free left hand to the body. Minute into the 11th round. Wilder with the better shots early in this round. Jab lands for Chisora. Backs Wilder up. Jab lands again for Chisora. Chisora eats a little short right hand but gets to the body. Those right hands to the body whiffing a little bit. Wilder pushing off in the clinch. What an ugly fight, but both guys still showing the hearts that made them, no names in the heavyweight division, even though their craft not good tonight. Jab lands for Chisora. Chisora gets inside. Hard right hand to the body by Chisora. Tries to clean up with a left hook up top. That was a good body shot by Chisora. Back in the center of the ring. Right hand for Wilder. Straight right hand. Not with the same power he was known for, though. Chisora ate it and ducks underneath the next one. Back comes Chisora with his jab. Clubbing right hand lands for Chisora, but Wilder takes some of the steam off of it, leaning back into the ropes. About a minute left in the 11th. Anyone's fight. Chisora gets Wilder near the ropes. Now he backs out of range. Fakes like he's going to throw a right hand. Backs out of range again. Wilder, big right hand attempt. Chisora hurt into the ropes. Wilder hits him with a left with Chisora through the ropes again for like the 4th time this fight. He steps through the ropes, steps through the middle of the ropes, and that is a knockdown that the referee now rules a knockdown late in the call. Or was he counting him to hurry up and get back in the ring? Right hand lands for Wilder. 25 seconds left. A Wilder round. Chisora clubbing right hand. Down goes Wilder. He was off balance, and that's a knockdown for Chisora. It hit Wilder on the shoulder, but it's a punch that sent him to the canvas. It is a knockdown. And Wilder's saying, oh my God, how could you rule this? And so have they both been knocked down this round? Clubbing right hand lands for Chisora. What an ugly... Oh, left hook by Chisora at the bell. And Wilder's still mad at the referee. Who the fuck knows who's winning this horrible fight? But it's a horrible, fun, chaotic fight. Did I say fun? It's a chaotic, sloppy fight. Both fighters have been knocked down now. This is one of the all-time shot-washed wars. Thank you, Coach Sonny Ra. Thank you, brother, for the super chat. But was that a knockdown? Let me hear this for a second. Chisora in retreat and then wings a right hand. I don't know if the ref was ruling it a knockdown or if he was counting for Chisora to have to get back in the ring. I don't know, chat. I don't know. This should be a draw, Marvelous Irv. I agree. Through 11 rounds, basically I have it even. Let's see if somebody can make an imprint in the 12th round. Here we go, 12th round. And Wilder might need this round more. He's on the road. Chisora getting low. Wilder fencing with his lead hand. Wilder shooting out a little pawing jab twice. Lead left hook. Chisora gets low. Gets in Wilder's chest. Wilder ties him up. Hits him to the side of the head with a right hand in the clinch. 30 seconds, 2.5 minutes left in this fight. Chisora getting in Wilder's chest again. Works the body. Brings the left hook up top. They both punch with their free hands in the clinch. Wilder is having a lot of talks with the ref. He better lock in and focus. Right uppercut by Wilder smothered, but he lands a right hand. Chisora hit with a right hand again. Chisora dipping his head down, but a few of those right hands landing. There's a fight going on in the audience. It is an ugly night in the O2 Arena. Wilder got Chisora's attention with one of those right hands. Now Chisora lands a looping right hand. Has to square his body up. Lands a combination inside to Wilder's body. Cleans up with a short left hook. Joshua cheering for Chisora ringside. Wilder fencing with that lead hand. Backing up. Eats a clubbing right hand from Chisora. Didn't waited too long to shoot his own straight right hand. Halfway through the round, minute and a half left in this fight. It's anyone's fight. Chisora lands a jab. Gets inside. Works the body. Chisora might have ultimately outworked Deontay Wilder in this fight. That might be the case here. Too many times where he'd get inside and get to work the body. Wilder never seemed particularly bothered by it. But too many spots where now a looping right hand lands for Chisora. Again, he backs Wilder up. Fan Zone has Wilder winning the fight 104-102. Frampton has Wilder winning the fight 106-101. I don't know. It's anyone's fight. I think Chisora has been hurt a number of times, but I also think he's carried the pace and carried the real estate and has gotten off a lot of body work in this fight. 2 jabs by Wilder. Sharp jabs. 40 seconds left. Chisora bouncing up on his toes as much as he can do. Comes back with his right hand. Gets underneath. Works to the body. Cleans up with a left hook inside. Wilder punching with his free hand as well. 30 seconds left in the fight. Chisora, big swing and a miss with his right hand. Switches southpaw. Winds up a left hand. Gets to Wilder's body. Roughs him up on the inside a little bit. 15 seconds left. Joshua really cheering for Chisora at ringside. 10 seconds left. Big sweeping right hand for Chisora. Misses. He gets Wilder into the ropes. Wilder headlocks him. And they smile. Crowd likes it. It was ugly. Could go either way. I'd say call it a draw. But Wilder did hurt Chisora a number of times. He had the bigger moments in the fight, but Chisora had moments too. I don't know. It was 2 shot fighters giving whatever they had left in the tank. It was chaotic. It was ugly. I'm not mad. You could make an argument either way. Wilder hurt him multiple times. But I also felt Chisora outworked him in spots too. So do you like the fewer and farther between with more leverage in the times he is landing Deontay Wilder, hurting and buzzing Chisora multiple times? Or do you give Chisora credit for controlling the real estate and outworking Deontay Wilder on the inside continuously? Which way do you sway it? And at the end of the day, he did get a knockdown ruled in his favor too. Watching the fight on mute, I don't know if they both got knockdowns in that 11th round. I don't know if the ref was counting for Chisora to get back in the ring already or if he ruled it a knockdown, but I kind of felt like it was a draw. Maybe Wilder pulled it out because he did hurt his man a couple of times, but Chisora outworked him too at the same time, so I don't know. That was ugly. Everyone in the chat is saying draw. I feel it was a draw. I feel like that would be right, but then you might have to see it again. Let's start a poll. Let's do it. Who won? Wilder, Derek Chisora. All right. Yep, 600 in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for rocking with me. We will see who comes away with this washed war. That's what I called it before, a washed war. It was... Man, that was ugly. I don't know. I'm still happy that shot fighters are a thing. That not everybody is PED'd to the point where they never get to be past their prime anymore. No, I'm just being a cynical wise ass there. So let's see. Wilder seems very convinced he's won this fight. His face is cleaner. He got hurt once in the 4th round. He hurt Chisora multiple times, but he also got outworked in a number of spots in this fight too. And if the judges are giving credit to all the body work by Chisora, they could see it his way. If they're not giving credit to the body work because it never bothered Wilder, and Wilder hurt Chisora multiple times in this fight, then they're going to see it Wilder's way. I think either way, I see an argument for either guy. Chisora's face is more marked up. He was buzzed a number of times. But it was in an ugly way, a fun, chaotic fight. It was violent. It was scrappy. Both fighters showed heart. They definitely showed heart. Chisora showed a lot of heart. They were both blowing gas early in the fight. I'm surprised they got to the 12th round, but they did. So Chisora's a tough motherfucker, man, to make it through. Wilder's right hand is not the same. And I said that before the fight for months. I said, look, he can't generate the same speed and torque on his punches that he used to. So that right hand, it needs that torque and a little bit of that velocity to be the weapon it once was. It's not there anymore. Wilder is not the puncher he once was. It's not just a matter of... And that tells you, in his prime, he had more than just power. He had some speed and some athleticism. Coordination wasn't the best. A little herky-jerky with the upper body, but he could spring into and drive some explosiveness and torque in there. Let's see who the judges ultimately gave this fight to. Let's see. Scorecards are in. 115, 111 for Wilder. 115, 112 Chisora. 115, 113 for the winner. Deontay Wilder. Yeah, I think that's a good call. A split decision where Wilder gets the call because he did hurt Chisora multiple times. And I'll give Wilder credit. I didn't think he could win this kind of fight. I thought if Chisora got in his chest and made it a war of attrition, that's a Derek Chisora win. Chisora got in his chest, made it a war of attrition, and Wilder won. So you got to give credit to Deontay Wilder for his heart. He's shot. His right hand isn't the weapon it once was. I think putting him in with Usyk is a bad idea. I don't think that goes well for him at all. Once upon a time, his right hand would have made it an interesting fight and would have made it a tightrope act for Usyk. Can he be perfect for 12 rounds without ever getting caught and lined up with that one monster right hand by Wilder? Those days are done. He doesn't have that kind of right hand weapon anymore. The torque and the speed needed to generate the explosiveness that made it what it was, they're not there. But for people who said all he was a puncher, he obviously has a lot of gumption too. He showed it tonight. He showed it in the Fury fights. And, he is pretty much shot. But even while being shot, for him to pull this out on the road in a war of attrition against a guy who outweighed him by 40 pounds, who was leaning on him all night and clubbing him with shots, you got to give Deontay credit for his gumption and showing he still has a championship heart, even if the other dimensions to his game have eroded to where you can't. It would be malpractice to put him in there with Usyk or Aitauma or even Caballel or Fabio Wardley, guys like that. Just going to be too much for him. But he will live to fight another day, and maybe they want to make the Joshua fight. And Joshua's past his best too. I think Joshua beats him. I think Joshua has more in the tank than Deontay does. But Joshua gets the yips sometimes. Joshua was talking a lot at ringside, and now he may have to see Deontay Wilder. And that would be one of the most overdue, like way past its expiration date fights of all time. But we might get it anyways. And it'd be a fun build-up, and we'll watch it, even though, meh. And, Wilder, through biting down on his mouthpiece tonight, has earned the right to control his own destiny and maybe still get a Joshua fight. There's still bad blood there. There's still animosity there. I'm sure he's going to talk mad shit about Joshua in the post-fight for cheering Chisora on so much. So maybe that's what we wind up getting. Again, Joshua's past his prime too, but Wilder looks more shot than just past his prime. Joshua's faded, not what he was. And, I suppose it could still... if Wilder still had his right hand, he could knock Anthony Joshua out. But I think between all the right hands that Zhang held up to, I think between all the right hands that Chisora held up to, and these are two fighters with better punch resistance than Joshua, but I feel like Wilder, vintage, generating the torque, he would have knocked Chisora out tonight if he still had the same right hand he used to have. So yeah, but again, I'll say this for Wilder, man. There's been a lot of people shitting on him over the years. And when I was growing up, people romanticized limited punchers like Ernie Shavers and Ron Lyle. And Wilder managed to get his hands on one of the heavyweight straps and defend it 10 times and beat a quality Luis Ortiz, earned that draw with Tyson Fury by knocking him down twice. I think that wasn't a controversial draw like other people made it out to be. I think that was a good call. Fury outboxed him in a majority of rounds, but Fury wasn't yet the version that he was in the second fight. He was still coming back and wasn't able to put together enough offense, and Wilder was still carrying the fight towards him for long spots in that fight. Dropped him twice, came within a second away of winning that fight by knockout, earned a draw. Fight number 3 comes with a second away of knocking Fury out. Some people would still debate those long counts a little bit. Ultimately, Fury's the better man. He wins that trilogy. But I think that third Fury fight, along with Joshua Klitschko, Layman Brewster against Sergey Lihovich, and maybe a fight or two I'm missing, are Lennox and Vitali, are the best fights of the new millennium in the heavyweight division's history and the most entertaining. So between, in my opinion, having underrated athleticism, yeah, he was herky-jerky and uncoordinated at times, plenty of times throughout his fights. But at 6'7", 220, he could spring into action with real explosiveness and athleticism and torque to deliver one of the all-time most dangerous right hands in heavyweight history. So I give credit to Wilder for biting down tonight and finding a way to win a war of attrition that was supposed to favor Chisora. Chisora was the betting favorite in this fight. And if you would have told people it was going to be a 12-round, sloppy, foul-filled war in the United Kingdom, and it was a war of attrition, you would think Chisora would win that fight. And Wilder showed enough of his championship heart while deteriorated to come out with a W and live to fight another day. So it is what it is. He's no longer a threat to the top heavyweights. That's obvious. But he pulled through and got the win. So I give him credit. Derek needs to retire, says Ace Money. Yeah, I agree. I think Wilder does too. But he's going to want a big payday and a big stage against Joshua. And I wonder now if DAZN swoops in and takes Joshua Wilder instead of Netflix doing Joshua Fury, and technically Joshua could lose to Fury, and I think he has a good chance of winning that fight because they're all done. They're all pretty done. Fury, Joshua, and Wilder. It's a new day in the heavyweight division. Moses Saitama is going to become the next dominant heavyweight. Usyk is the current dominant heavyweight, but he's 39, and Wardley is a good heavyweight, and Dubois even is on the downside, even though he's still relatively young. So I think we're just having some fun in the last stages of this era before Itama takes it all over for good, for the foreseeable future. So that's what we're looking at. Arena emptied out quick, says Maria C. Wilder is back, says Aventador. No, he's not. I mean, he won, but he's not back. AJ, Wilder sucks either way. AJ would kill him inside of 3 rounds. I mean, AJ's not the most reliable these days either. So, I don't know. Judges wanted to set... Oh yeah, the Tim Tszyu fight. I forgot about that. Yeah. Is Tim Tszyu fighting yet? Let's take a look, chat. We'll stick around. Let's take a look at how Tim Tszyu is looking. Hold up. Let's see how Tim Tszyu's looking. All right. Where's it at? Oh, it's still the prelims? Damn, come on, Tim Tszyu. Let's get to main event time already. It's already 4 o'clock. Oh, are they coordinating it to sync up with American time? Oh, wow. That shit ain't for a minute. Nah, I ain't staying on that long. I'm not staying on that long. I think Itama will clean the division out. Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. No respect for Chisora. Everyone's leaving. I mean, hey, they showed him plenty of respect by showing that. Hey, it's still. What time is it over there? It's almost midnight. They're ready to party, man. They sat through an ugly fight. Let's give them credit. Now Wilder and Chisora in the ring. What's Wilder saying? Yeah, this was a washed war. That was an old man parking lot fight. Very slight. That's what I expected, though. I just about expected that. I didn't expect Wilder to pull through in a war of attrition, though. I gotta give him credit for that. So, the ref was terrible, yes. So, yeah, in conclusion, credit to Wilder for pulling through a very tough, bruising fight, well past his best. But, yeah. He's not back. Big Jeff said, great commentary, bro. I didn't even watch the fight. I wanted to immerse myself like an old school radio broadcast. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed the call. Please subscribe if you haven't already. What does Joe Goosen think? Joshua? Well, I think it's obvious that Deontay is not what he was. He's not what he was. But, I mean, he still hurt Derek enough, and he's still a guy that Anthony's got to worry about. So you're saying you favor Wilder, Joe? Well, I didn't say that. I should say Joshua's seen better days too, you know. So, yeah, the ref was terrible. I agree. Do I purposely rage bait boxers, or are they just no? I don't. I just try to ask them good questions, and sometimes if I see things that fans are discussing, I'll respectfully take it as a challenge to actually put it to them and actually ask them. You know, like everybody's thinking it, everybody's talking about it, so let me actually pose it to them. Thank you, Chikian. Chikian, washed war, like we said. So, Buckaroos said, hanging out with my girl while hearing you narrate the fight felt old school. Thank you, brother. Thanks for tuning in, man. Ebid Mahdi said, right, Radio Raheem was right, Sean. He was leaning towards Wilder. I was leaning towards Chisora, but I had enough hesitation to just not outright pick him on Sean's show and on my show. But you guys were here on the live, so I kind of did pick him. Yeah, but no, good for Wilder, man. But Wilder, had enough. Like, it was enough of what was once an advantageous style matchup for Wilder, where he would have bombed Chisora out, that I didn't really want to go on the record with either one. And my whole point too was that they're both well past their best, and it'll probably be an ugly fight, and it was. So, but Wilder won. Credit to him. Do I have Caroline Dubois stopping Terry Harper tomorrow for her third KO defeat? I didn't break down enough tape on that fight. I just expect Caroline Dubois to win, for sure. That's for sure. Michael Parks said, tears of joy, Sean. Panama said, till this day. Yep, till this day. Till this day, still winning heavyweight fights. The ref saved Chisora like 10 times. Yeah, there was some hometown cooking there. Can't Guard Juice said, Sean, the way you called that fight was amazing. Didn't get to stream, but I felt like I didn't miss a thing. Salute to one of the best voices in boxing. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Wilder versus AJ next. AJ by big KO. I don't know. Netflix might already have that in motion to where they're certainly going to get Fury and AJ. So, I don't think the Wilder fight loses anything if AJ loses to Fury, and I don't even know if Fury beats AJ. They're all so past their best that I really don't know. AJ might be able to beat Wilder and Fury in back-to-back fights. So I don't know. I don't know. we're at the stage with these guys where anything can happen when you pair them. Whatever your analysis was when they were in their primes kind of goes out the window now. I do think I would favor AJ over Wilder, though. But Matt's Adventures, thank you for the super chat, brother. Says, Big Charlo seems to have his head on straight. Think he can make a run in a depleted 168. I don't know. He had a chance. He had a chance to fight for the WBA title against Resendiz, and that didn't go through. Apparently, it wasn't enough time for him, but that's disappointing, man. You're getting this opportunity you don't even really deserve anymore, and it's for a world title on a big card, and if you win it, you and Plant is a fight that's upgraded now. That would be a title fight if you could pull through against Resendiz and you squander that opportunity. It's just the latest in blown opportunities by Jermall, and I like Jermall, but it's disappointing, man. So do I think he makes a real run at 168? No, I can't depend on him to make a run. He can't string together more than one fight at a time every 2 years anymore. There's talent, and it's wide open, but Shiraz is a problem. I still think Pacheco could pull things together. I don't think he beats Lester Martinez. I don't think he beats Christian Mabili right now. Yeah, at his best, he had better skills than Christian Mabili, but Mabili is in his prime, strong fighter. So I got, no, I don't think so, no. And I say that as someone who once upon a time thought Jermall was going to make a run at top 5 pound for pound. Could have stood a great chance of beating Canelo and Triple G, but those days are well over. And to honestly answer your question, no. I'd be cool with being wrong. I like Jermall. He at one time was one of my favorite fighters to watch. I thought his upside was tremendous. His size, his jab, his counter punching, his power, really good athlete. I thought he was the goods and just never put it all together. He's one of the big what ifs for me. Matt Borgeson, thank you for the super chat, brother. Said one of the worst, or not the super chat, but just good to see you, Matt. Said one of the worst, I'm so used to saying that sentence. One of the worst entertaining fights I've ever seen in my life. Agreed. And then Maria said we got to put together a ranked of washed wars in the recap. It's hard for me to even come up off top of the best washed wars. I'm trying to think. Vargas Mosley won. They weren't washed, but that was a fun past their prime war, and then Shane winds up ruining it as a candidate because then he looked really good 3 years for the next several fights after that. Morales was washed against Maidana, but made it a war. But we're talking about both being washed, and it was a war. And Ali Frazier 3 doesn't count. They were both past their prime, but still were great and made it an amazing fight, so that doesn't count. Yeah, Ali Frazier, Thrilla and Manila says Matt Borgeson. That was it. Kind of was Vargas Mayorga. Yes, Vargas Mayorga is a washed war. I can't call Ali Frazier 3 because it was still for the heavyweight championship, and they still had spurts of brilliance in that fight, even though they weren't what they were in the first fight 4 years before. So they were past their prime, but it was still for the heavyweight championship, and it was still a brilliant fight. Not as brilliant as their first fight from an overall athletic standpoint, but I feel like washed war. I hear you. I mentioned it before you brought it up, but I feel like that'd be disrespectful to the Thrilla in Manila. Brook versus Khan. Yeah, that wasn't really a war, though. Brook just beat the shit out of Amir Khan, respectfully. Jojo Diaz Regis. Excellent choice, my friend. Jojo Diaz Regis. Mayweather Pacquiao wasn't a war. And Floyd still had enough to beat Manny. It was for 3 of the 4 belts. It was for the legitimate welterweight championship. And then Manny, 4 years later, beat Keith Thurman. So I know you're kidding, but still. Roy Jones Tarver 3. Yeah, but it wasn't a war. But it did it got chaotic in the end when Tarver almost went over the top rope, and Roy had a good 4th and 5th round, shimmying and touching his shoe and punching. But it was a pretty terrible fight. But sure, Roy Tarver 3. Jojo Regis is perfect. Yeah. Has Wilder lost his power? Yes, Tony Ayo, he has. He is not. I said it a number of times throughout the live. He can't generate the same torque and explosiveness. He needs some speed to go with that right hand to make it the weapon it was. And since he doesn't have that snap anymore, the right hand isn't what it was. That's why Chisora was still upright after taking right hands in this fight. Once upon a time, he would not have been. So, yeah, he's lost a lot of his power. Doesn't mean he still doesn't have power, but am I going to be a regular on the PBC show? It sounds like it. But we'll see. I think so. Roy versus Hopkins too. By the way, I did good on that fight. I kept pressing Keith about, is this a retirement? Is this your last fight? It might be. And I picked Fundora by knockout. So Duran versus Leonard 3, that fight was really bad too, but it was a washed fight for sure. Berto versus Robert Guerrero. Nah, Guerrero was in his prime, and Berto wasn't in his prime anymore, but he had more deterioration yet to come. Duran Camacho. I'd have to watch that fight. I'd have to watch that. Was Duran? You know, I honestly never watched Duran versus Pazienza. I imagine that fight was a war, and they were washed. So that was probably a washed war, right? For anybody who saw Duran versus Pazienza, was that a war? I imagine it was. I would guess that it was. I would suspect that it was. So, yeah, we need you in PBC. I'm not going to say who you need to replace, but we need you on the call. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you. Ronnie the boxing guy said, Sean, love the content, man. Keep it up. Always. Love from Brooklyn. We claim you. Yes, sir. Let's go. And I will be in Brooklyn June 27th for the fight. Fennec Nelson 3. Good one. Good one. Good one. Oh, right. Berto Guerrero. You're talking about the rematch. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Didn't Guerrero and Ortiz fight too? Victor Ortiz. That's a washed war. So Marquez versus Alvarado. That wound up being Marquez's last fight, but he still looked good. He still looked good to me. He got dropped, I know. But Marquez ended on a high note. That was a realistic high note for Marquez to end on. He still looked good. Still looked good. Matt Borgeson, thank you for the super chat. How excited are you for Inoue Nakatani? 1 out of 10. 8. It was a 10 before. I think Nakatani's fight against Hernandez, which I scored a draw, took a little bit off of it. Now, I've been getting more excited about it again because styles make fights, and Inoue's not going to be in Nakatani's chest all night like Hernandez wound up being for a large portion of that fight after the early rounds. And that means Nakatani's going to have room to get the leverage and the separation and the power on his left hand, which means he could knock Inoue out. But I think that fight kind of showed us, to me, it's still an amazing fight, but it got kind of slightly downgraded from an amazing pound-for-pound summit meeting to what I feel like is now just going to be a coronation, a deserved coronation of Inoue as the best Japanese fighter of all time. Now I feel like that's what we're headed for. Inoue is going to win. He's the better all-around fighter. He has more dimensions to his game. Nakatani's body leaves a big target area for Inoue, who's an amazing body puncher. And I think it's still very dangerous for Inoue. He can still get knocked out in this fight. I'm not discrediting Nakatani, but I feel like you got to be favoring Inoue now. After how they looked in their previous fights on that Saudi doubleheader. And even before that doubleheader, I was favoring Inoue. Now I'm more convinced Inoue wins the fight, not just favoring him. And Inoue will be crowned as Japan's, greatest fighter of all time. He'll sell out the Tokyo Dome. He's one of the great fighters of his era. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time, in my opinion, already. Certainly in those bantamweight divisions, flyweight divisions. When I say one of the greatest fighters of all time, well, I guess what I mean to say, he's already an all-time great, I'm not necessarily saying he's top 10 pound for pound all time, that kind of thing, but I think he's already an all-time great. I think he might be, you could argue, the greatest at 18 and 22, those bantamweight divisions. But I think if he wins, it's just the solidifying everything he's done from 108 to 122, and solidifying what he's accomplished as Japan's greatest fighter. And then at 126 is a whole new challenge for him. And I suspect he doesn't get out of 126 unscathed. I think that's when he's really going to be legitimately fighting men that are bigger than him with some significance. I think Fulton was bigger than him, but fighting at 122, it wasn't a huge size advantage for Fulton. But I think at 126, against guys like Leo and Espinoza and Carrington, I think he beats Figueroa. I think he might beat those three guys I mentioned too, but I just suspect he goes through the gauntlet at 26. One of them is going to beat him. He's into his 30s. Those are, in the case of Carrington and Espinoza more so, those are bigger men. And I think one of those guys will beat him. But if he gets through 126 unscathed and becomes undisputed at 126, then he's not just an all-time great. He is, one of the greatest fighters of all time, in my opinion. So that would be incredible if he can get through 126. He's already an incredible fighter, already a special fighter, already an all-time great. But if he can get through 126, that would be incredible. And I suspect he won't. I think 126 is where someone beats him at some point. And if not, and it's not until he gets to 130, then that's just incredible for Inoue. So thank you, Set for Life Netter. Sorry, brother, for not getting it, but thank you for the super chat saying keep grinding. Matt Borgeson said, is it comparable to Leonard versus Hearns for bantamweight? Matt, not only is it comparable, hold on here, my friend. Here, I'll show you this. Matt. I had on my Twitter, get out of there, DAZN. Don't get me copyright. This is what I put on my Twitter about where we at? I tweeted this last year. Inoue Nakatani, the 122-pound Leonard Hearns, right? And where is it? Yeah, I said it here too. Maybe Inoue Nakatani is the 122-pound version of Leonard Hearns. And what else? There was a time I interviewed Inoue about it. I gotta go to my page again. Hold up. Get that guy out of here. Here we go. Let me see here. Should be in my archives of one of my interview clips. Here it is. So this is when I asked.
Oh yeah, did you ever watch the fight Leonard Hearns, their first fight?
Here, listen to this, Matt. In regards to it being like Leonard Hearns at super bantamweight. Here we go.
Okay. Oh yeah, did you ever watch the fight Leonard Hearns, their first fight? And did you watch it, in its entirety? And do you think there's a bit of a comparison there at 122 with you and Nakatani? Nakatani's Hearns and your Sugar Ray Leonard?
レナード・ハーンの試合見たことありますか？まあ軽くは。I've seen it lightly. まあそれに比べて、and I'm sorry, the question was.
Do you think it's a bit of a fair comparison that him and Nakatani at 22 is like their version of Leonard Hearns? He's Leonard, Nakatani's like Hearns.
それが中谷さんがそれと同じようになるっていうことを言ってますけど、そういう感じになりますか？そういう感じで、対戦的に非常にいいトップの選手が2人試合するっていうことです。
でもその勝者が今後の日本のボクシング界を引っ張っていく選手になっていると、それは井上尚弥だというところを証明しています。
And I think that fight, the winner of that fight, is going to be the fighter who's going to basically become the lead fighter for Japan, and I want to basically tell everyone that it's Inoue Naoya.
The greatest of all time. That fight is for the title, the greatest of all time.
For the future of boxing in Japan.
All right, there you go. So yeah, I definitely see a comparison. Nakatani, the tall puncher boxer like Thomas Hearns, with that dangerous brick hand. He's a southpaw, so it's a left hand instead of the right hand. Against the superstar, very athletic boxer puncher being Naoya Inoue. So yeah, I have compared it to that fight, but I've cooled off on that comparison a little bit, even though I think it's still there, because Nakatani, Leonard, or Hearns heading into the Leonard fight, I believe might have been the favorite. Let's look that up. I think Leonard might have even been, or Hearns might have even been the favorite heading into that fight. He was looking incredible. He had knocked out Pepino Cuevas and was looking great heading into that fight. Whereas, let's see what the Leonard Hearns won odds. What were they? It was 50-50. Yeah, I don't think this fight is considered 50-50 now. Now I think Inoue, he's the favorite. So the odds were considered to be 50-50. However, Hearns, here it goes right here. Hearns was slightly favored due to his undefeated record and the fact that Leonard had previously lost to Duran, which may have influenced betting lines. So actually, Hearns was a little bit the betting favorite, whereas Inoue, Nakatani odds are going to be what? What's the odds, man? Man, give me the odds. Let's see. Inoue is, I think, favored. Just give me some normal odds, please. What is it? Inoue is favored to win with odds typically represented. What's the odds, man? Where's just the regular old, popular? Okay, Inoue is minus 450. Minus 450. He's a huge favorite now, bro. He is a 3-1 favorite. Minus 450. Nakatani's plus 310. So Inoue's the favorite. So that's why I'd cool off of that comparison a little bit. And ultimately, I like Nakatani, but I don't think he's Thomas Hearns. I think Inoue is very Sugar Ray Leonard. I think Inoue is more Sugar Ray Leonard than Nakatani is Hearns, but still, there you go. HTTR95, thank you, brother, for the super chat. Asks, where was Wilder's killer instinct? I think one thing shot fighters struggle to do is pull the trigger. And there was a number of times in the fight where he's fencing him with the lead hand, and he'd have some separation between him and Chisora, but he wouldn't launch the right hand the way he used to be. Pulling the trigger is harder when you're slower and your reaction times aren't as quick. You don't see the openings as quickly as you once did. You're a little bit more hesitant about getting hit. And Chisora is making you miss sometimes. He's getting underneath it and then smothering you. That's enough to make you second guess your distance at times. And he's not as fast as he used to be, so he can't nail the target as quickly as he used to with that right hand. I don't think it was so much a matter of killer instinct. I think it's a matter of deterioration. And I think he still showed some spite in that ring. That's why when Chisora made it like a rough tumble fight, fouling to the back of the head, he said, all right, motherfucker, we'll foul. We'll make this ugly. He was willing to do whatever it took to win. I don't think it was a matter of a psychological killer instinct. I think it's a matter of the physical deterioration to his game more than anything. Matt Borgeson said, in terms of pure skill, Inoue's top 10 all time, in my opinion. I would agree with you. I just, the way he leaves his chin up, even though he's so athletic and has really good upper body movement, he has so many looks. He can shoulder roll. He can high guard it. His feet are fast. He has a beautiful rhythm. I think he might be the most athletic. Him and Jaron Ennis are like the most athletic fighters in boxing today. But he does leave his chin up. But yeah, I definitely could see why you think in terms of pure skill between the counter punching, being able to lead, the combination punching, the speed, the power, the body shots. He has a really good jab. His feet are fleet-footed. I'm not mad at it. I mean, Inoue is a truly special fighter. He is. Matt said the Inoue who fought Fulton was a world beater 100%. The peak Inoue I've seen so far was the guy who knocked out Fulton and knocked out Donaire in the rematch. That guy was sensational. And he's still been great since that fight. I wonder if the Nakatani assignment makes him dial that up. I've seen a smarter Inoue lately who's in interviews has said he knows to some degree he's slowing down a little bit. And he is adjusted for that a little bit. He's fighting a little smarter now. And fighting, understanding he may have to win fights over 12 rounds against bigger men and bigger punchers. So he's a special fighter. I can't give him enough props. Don't get me wrong. He does leave his chin up, but hey, nobody's perfect. Matt's Adventures, thank you for the super chat, says, I feel like boxing doesn't have a standout star for the first time in a long time. Tank was on his way, but he likes jail too much. LOL. Maybe Shakur leads. And even Tank, sans the Ryan Garcia fight, it's not like he's putting up De La Hoya, Mayweather, Tyson, Canelo pay-per-view numbers, Got the streets on lock, that's for sure. He's got a sizable fan base. He's a star, don't get me wrong, and moves the needle more than his contemporaries, Teofimo, Ryan, Shakur, Devin, let alone guys like Keyshawn who haven't gotten there yet. He's a star, but he never has quite become the star that the guys I mentioned have become. So, or even like Felix Trinidad level of pay-per-view power and stuff like that, but he's a star. So, but I feel like, speaking of Tank, man, that shit with putting your hands on women all the time and getting caught on tape doing it, that's fucking weak on his part. It's bullshit. You don't need me to tell you that. Everybody knows that. And I feel like it's like the ship is starting to sail on his prime. Like, you keep getting caught up in putting your hands on women, flat performance against Lamont Roach, inactivity now. You're into your 30s. You're not a kid anymore. You're not in your 20s. And it's like, is the ship sailing on his prime? And that's why someone like Devin Haney brings up the underachiever thing. I think that's fair. And actually not even a full diss to Tank. That's Devin acknowledging he has talent. If Devin thought he sucks, he would say he sucks. If Devin didn't say he's overrated. Devin didn't say he's a hype job or any of those things. Devin's saying he's underachieved given his talent. I think, back when Devin didn't have me blocked and we weren't, not getting along or on good terms, he would tell me that he thought Tank was a great fighter. So, and Tank has done some good things, man. He's beaten some really good fighters. Some of his wins have aged very well. Pitbull and Ryan and Ryan, I think, was thin that night. Ryan had already settled into 140, but Tank knocked him out, was the better fighter. It's a really good win. Pitbull was a good win. It aged well. He's got a number of good... The Barrios win aged well for a time, even though I think Barrios filled out better at welterweight. There's no denying that, but he's done some good things. It's not to say he hasn't, but yeah, man, he's got to shape up. And that's putting it nicely. Matt Borgeson saying, and then as for Shakur leading as a star, anything's possible. People love a winner, and Shakur seems like he may be the winner of his era, but I don't know if he could really become that huge star. I think he is a star. I think his star is growing, but I don't know about him becoming, a mainstream crossover pay-per-view kind of attraction guy. So we'll see. But there's always a market for a winner, and he is a winner. Matt Borgeson says, I feel like it'll end like Leonard Hearns too. Well, for Inoue's sake, it better not quite be like Leonard Hearns, because Leonard loses that fight in the 12-round era. He had to knock him out in the 14th round. If it would have went 12, he would have lost on the cards. So we'll see. But I think Inoue wins. I think early that fight is dangerous, but I think Inoue has been calculating in his last couple fights, boxing more, being a little safer in spots. And I think he'll have to use his feet a lot through 6 rounds. I saw from Nakatani, after 6, he slowed down against Hernandez, but that was a constant pace. That was a lot of body work. That was a guy in his chest nonstop. That was a full-fledged 122-pounder who's not coming up from lower weights like him and Inoue had. So there's some different dimensions there. I think Inoue's going to have to use his feet. I think Inoue puts it all together in this fight. He puts together his IQ. He moves. He uses his feet a lot. He invests in the body. And then I think in the second half of the fight is when he drops the thunder and makes his imprint on Nakatani to take the fight. But I think early in the first 6-7 rounds, he's going to have to be very intelligent, and he's going to have to be a little bit more cautious version of himself, and the feet are going to be key for him early. But I think both fighters emptying their bags with everything they're capable of, Inoue is just better than him. He's just better than him. And I think Inoue will win the fight. So, Ryan Garcia is our modern golden boy. He has the fame. I mean, but he's not Oscar. He's not as good as Oscar was. He's not the star Oscar is. He's not accomplished like Oscar is. He is a star. He is a draw. But he's no Oscar De La Hoya. At the very least, not yet. And I don't think he'll ever quite be Oscar De La Hoya. But he's good. He's very talented, very fast, very good puncher. I think a fight with him and Shakur is very interesting, even though Shakur is the better technician, but Ryan's a bigger guy, and I think Ryan got a lot of fucking talent. I remember Shakur told me that about Ryan at MSG years ago, that he's a great talent. He's just doesn't believe he's focused enough, and that was a fair comment that aged well. But now that if Ryan is the Ryan that just fought Barrios, he stands a chance to beat Shakur Stevenson. I know Shakur is the favorite, but yeah, I can't say he's Oscar De La Hoya. I know you're saying he's the modern golden boy, like he's the closest thing we have to it now, but that just shows you that this era isn't as great as that era was. Do I think Richard Torres can become heavyweight champion? I think Richard Torres is on his way to winning a version of the heavyweight title. I think he can scoop up one of the 4 titles that Usyk is relinquishing at some point. He's fighting in the IBF Eliminator. I just don't think he could beat Moses Saitama, but I think he could potentially beat a Cabello. I think he could beat a lot of these guys because, like he said in the interview I had with him last week, he's going to drag you to the pits of hell. He's a dog. He's an overachiever. We were talking about Tank being an underachiever possibly, or is an underachiever. Richard Torres is an overachiever. So I think that Richard Torres will win one of the 4 heavyweight straps. I just don't think he'll become the heavyweight champion. I think he will pick up one of the sanctioning body titles, but I think it's Itama's division to rule for the foreseeable future once his time comes. So, Sean, why don't you do a clapback Saturday? I don't know. I'm good. My neck's hurting right now. I'm gonna get off in a minute. It's a decent idea though. Thank you, brother. Good to see you, Secret Dance Moves. What's up, Francisco Alatorre? What's up, Big Jeff? C Money says Tank has the Roy Jones type of star power. Good attraction, but the numbers are not that high. Remember, Roy wasn't on a lot of pay-per-views in his prime. That's fair. Actually, Tank in the Ryan fight did a bigger number than Roy ever did. But Roy Jones, he's no Roy Jones. But yeah, to be fair to his marketing power, Roy was a star. And actually what sucks for Roy is right when he beat John Ruiz is when his star was the brightest. And then he goes back down to light heavyweight. He pulls out the first Tarver fight, gets knocked out, and that was basically all she wrote thereafter. But Roy was right at the apex of his stardom after he won that John Ruiz fight. And he got on the cover of Fight Night 2004. He did the Who's the Best sit down with Michael Jordan, Derek Jeter, and Serena Williams on ESPN, that series. And good to see my man Mark Contreras again. Good to see you, brother. Secret Dance Move says Torres ain't beating Cabello. You might be right. I'm not, that's a good fight. I think he could beat Cabello, but I might be wrong. Might be wrong. That would be a war. That would be a war. Big James says, tell us how you feel about Dana White. I mean, it is what it is, man. I'm not, he called me some things. I don't gotta call him nothing. Other people say it for me. But I don't know. I'm not trying to hate on the prospects he has. I'm trying to give all those guys fair analysis, so I try not to factor that in or whatever when I'm covering Zuffa fighters. So I don't feel like getting into it right now, but it is what it is. I just feel like you can't talk all that big bad America first shit and then get bankrolled by a Saudi sugar daddy and amongst other things that I've gotten into on this channel that I'm just not going to get into right now. So yeah, but I'm out, guys. It was a fun. What's up, Paulie Walnuts? I wish you got the one-on-one interview with you would destroy Dana. Well, they pushed me on to Lawrence Epstein and Dean Murphy. I said let's do a Zoom, and it fizzled out. That's that. So we'll see what's up. But you guys have a good one. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody who came in and hung out with me during this live. Wilder wins. Credit to him for the win. And we'll see what's next. I'll tune into Tim Tszyu tonight. I'll do a reaction after the fight. I'll do a walk around the block, tell you guys what I think of Tim Tszyu. Let's see what he's got left, Apparently him and Spence could be a done deal for July. By the way, speaking of Tank, a birdie told me that it might be July 26th for Tank versus Pitbull's rematch. So you heard it here first, but I wouldn't take that as gospel. I've also heard from other sources that it would be August. So maybe August 20th, something like that. But yeah, there you go. Let's see. From my guy Michael Parks, I got to get his super chat before he gets out here. Prime Demetrius Andrade versus Jamal Charlo. Who wins? I think Jamal Charlo was the better overall talent as a professional. Andrade was kind of had flashes of being special in his career at 154 when he didn't get any big fights. 160, he was still very good, but not as much. But I would have to, head-to-head, overall, I felt Charlo had a little bit more upside. He was a better puncher, a little bit more entertaining, better personality. But I feel head-to-head, if they had made that fight at 160 or at 154, I'd have to favor Boo Boo based on the Matt Korobov fight. A southpaw that hit Jamal Charlo with a lot of straight left hands, made that fight very difficult for Jamal Charlo. And Austin Trout, who was a savvy boxer, also gave Jamal Charlo some fits. So I'd give the edge to Boo Boo head-to-head. But overall, outside of a head-to-head matchup, I preferred Jamal Charlo and his upside. But I'd give it to... damn, I was late on that super chat. I would give it to Boo Boo head-to-head. So... But all right, chat. Much love to all of you. Peace. Have a good rest of the weekend. And check back in on the channel tomorrow for me and Raheem. Check in tonight on my reaction to Tim Tszyu. And have a good one. Hell no, Jamal sleeps Boo Boo. I mean, I don't know, man. He could have. He had the punching power to do it. But having his feet set to deliver it. Like, I'm with you. I like Jamal better than Andrade. But I'm thinking the first thing that pops in my head logically is what Korobov. He didn't sleep Matt Korobov, and I think Demetrius Andrade's a more difficult fight than Matt Korobov. So, I don't know. Happy Easter, everybody. Much love, and God bless. Happy